Please tell me I'm live because I feel like I messed up a whole bunch of stuff. I feel like I messed up a whole lot of stuff, so now I need to make sure that I'm live because I'm not sure anymore if I did this the right way. I'm live because
Oh,
I
shoot.
feel like I messed up a whole bunch of stuff. I feel like I messed up a whole lot of stuff, so now I need to make. Okay, yeah, we're good, we're good. It's working now. Sorry about all that. Hi. Thank you for coming to. There was, oh my goodness, yeah, there was a lot of stuff that went wrong when I was trying to set up the stream. I started it, but then it never showed up on my YouTube. So I thought, okay, let me hit end broadcast and see if like it just never took. But then I did it, and then like it just killed that stream. So I had to make a second stream and do it, and stuff like that kind of makes me wish sometimes that I was still on Twitch. I'm not gonna do it for various reasons on both sides of it. I don't want to use Twitch for various reasons, and then I do want to grow my YouTube for various reasons. So it's like, for now, like I'm still gonna be on YouTube, but it's like, man, like the simplicity of Twitch and just streaming on Twitch is like there's a lot of appeal just based on the simplicity, and so like not having these issues would make it a lot easier. But it's, either way, we got started. Welcome. Thank you for coming. I'm really excited about this one. So like in the last stream, in the last stream, we talked about simple cocktails, so things as easy as say the gin and tonic, which are literally just ice, shot of gin, and then top with tonic water. Really that simple, very delicious. We talked about a mule, which is a shot of the spirit, lime juice, and then top with ginger beer, add ice. We talked about all sorts of like really simple cocktails that like you really don't need to put in that much effort to make taste delicious. And there was two cocktails, well, drinks. I'm not 100% sure if they qualify as cocktails. I'm not 100% sure about the definition of cocktails to begin with, but there were two cocktails that I did want to add, but two issues. One, I didn't have any particularly cheap wine. I do have some fancy wine that we have lying. I do have some fancy wine that we have lying around. However, like I didn't want to use that. They're not mine, for one, and two, they're kind of special for reasons I don't want to get into. But so I had to go to the grocery store and buy some intentionally cheap wine, and that's the key here. I'm using intentionally cheap wine for reasons you'll see in a second. These particular cocktails do not demand particularly expensive wine. I'm not good enough at discerning wine to really tell you whether good wine is a scam or if good wine is legitimate or whatnot. I'm just not well trained with wines. I'd have to try more wines. That could be something we do. It's like, oh, let's compare like cheap wine to expensive wine. That could be a fun thing we can do, but I don't have the palate for wine. So we're gonna have to, well, we're gonna use cheap wine, and it's going to be fine for the purposes of this specific stream. You do not need particularly fancy wine for what we're about to do today. Okay. I really should have looked at this up actually. So the first one is gonna be very easy. The next one, both of them are extremely easy, as per this being basically an extension of our easy cocktails, our lazy cocktails video. But a key, what was I gonna say? A key thing about both of these is like these don't even really involve measurements. So what I was pausing for was that I really wanted to make kalimoko, which is like just as simple as gin and tonic, but like possibly even easier. But I have no idea how to spell that word. It's spelled impossibly for my like Western Americanized point of view. It's like it has an X in it somehow. It's like KALIXMO or something like. I have no idea for sure how to pronounce it. However, it is a very interesting drink. I've actually genuinely never tried this because it sounds so, I'll be honest, blasphemous. So, give me 1 sec. I'm gonna fill a glass with ice. So take your glass filled with ice, and as is usually the case, mine is pretty cloudy, mine is not particularly nice. You don't need fancy ice. I have nice, clear, crushed ice, broken ice rather, that I could use, but you don't need it. If you're making a lazy cocktail, if you're new to mixology and don't really have the means to make clear ice yet, just use the fridge ice you have. It will be fine for these kinds of cocktails anyways, especially this one, because it's not gonna have like the beautiful color anyways. Like, it's not gonna be so, what's the opposite of opaque? Clear? It's not gonna be so clear that like you can see through it, and then it would be nice to have like a crystal clear ice that makes it look extra fancy. This is what we're about to make is like the opposite of fancy, and that's why we're using cheap wine, and we don't need particularly fancy ice. So just take this, and like usually when I'm making a cocktail recipe, even a relatively simple one, I might measure it out with a jigger. We are not even going to do that today. We are definitely not going to do that today. 1 sec. Yeah, we are not even going to use a particularly we are not even going to measure anything today. All we are gonna do is get some nice cheap wine. This wine, it was literally the cheapest thing I can find in the grocery store. It was like $5. And just fill it about halfway. Roughly. Like, who cares? It's a lazy cocktail for a lazy day where you just want a nice drink, but you don't necessarily want to do any work for it. And then this is kind of the blasphemous part for me. We are gonna top that off with an equal amount of Coca-Cola. Now, I am a Diet Coke fiend, so we are gonna use Diet Coke. I imagine I'm going to upset some people for not using authentic Mexican Coke, but again, lazy cocktail. This is what I had at home. This is what I want to make, and I prefer Diet Coke, in fact. There we go. That is Kalimoko. Once again, I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that right. I'm not 100% sure if, like, what exactly. I think it was in Spain. It's the usual thing of like they had an excess of cheap wine. They had an excess of like Coca-Cola. They decided to mix it together, realized it tasted hella good, and then started to sell it. Spun a whole story about it. Apparently there's like a big old weird festival involving like like chickens and like pulling chickens' heads off. I don't know. It's a crazy thing. Maybe I'm mixing it up with something else. I learned all of this from How to Drink, as is usually the case. And again, I've never actually tried this, so let's see how a Kalimoko is. It being this simple, and honestly, like things with mixers are never bad. It just feels too lazy for me. I'm a little too pretentious that way, but let's see if this is actually good. Test. What's up, Chibity? How are you doing? Let's see how the Kalimoko is. The unspellable cocktail. Is my Diet Coke flat? My Diet Coke might be a little flat. Let's open a brand new one. Oh, I ended up in the wrong waiting room or something. Yeah. So what happened was I started the stream, but then like for whatever reason it wasn't taking on YouTube, so I had to make a second stream in order to actually get it to fire off. It was very weird. Ooh, yeah, this one has a fizz. Let me see if this works better. This is a brand new Diet Coke because I always have a Diet Coke stocked up. Yeah, sorry about that. I totally fucked up with making the stream, and so like there's something that went wrong on YouTube's end. So I had to end the stream, make a new waiting room, and then start a new stream, which is very annoying. It's times like this where I did kind of wish I was on Twitch, but for various reasons, I don't want to use Twitch. And for various other reasons, and I want to stay on YouTube to help build it. So it's like, it's just something I'm going to have to deal with, but it's also like, man, that's annoying. Man, it's really annoying. Oh, yeah. Okay, now that it has some fizziness to it, now that it's much less flat, I can see the appeal of this. It is, you get like the kind of robust red wine flavor. You get notes of that, and it's not a particularly fancy red wine. In fact, it's the literal cheapest one I can find. And then so I didn't expect it to have much good complexity, but you have that, and then you have like the sweetness of the Coke and like the various like, I'm not 100% sure what's in Coke, but there's like some sort of zestiness to it, some sort of like sugary and spicy thing going on with Coke, and that like melts with the wine. That melts with the wine pretty nicely. Yeah. It's sort of like, so like rum and Coke is another thing that's people tend to like. I'm really not into that. I honestly like feel like it's a little bit sacrilegious to like use particularly nice spirits and just mix them with Coke. But then like that's the same thing with rum too. Like the way rum is, just in a general sense, it has that sort of like inherent sweetness, inherent like fruitiness to it that then melds together well with Coke, and that's why like a rum and Coke is a really nice thing. This Kalimoko, the red wine and Coke, really melts together in a way that's like, in a way that's both expected and unexpected. Like expected in that like when you think about the flavors of them together, it really does. It feels natural that those things would go together. But then it's also like you wouldn't expect that Coke would particularly elevate your red wine. Like a big thing with rum and Coke to me is that it just tastes like rum and Coke. They don't like mix together meaningfully well in a way that like makes it better than the sum of its parts, if you know what I'm saying. Like that's what a lot of cocktails are. It's like you add this and that and it elevates it into a whole new plane, as opposed to like, oh, just those ingredients mixed together. It's actually like better than the sum of its parts. I do think Kalimoko is better than the sum of its parts, and it's nice. There's a song that goes, red, red wine. I know that one. Stay close to me. Don't let me be alone. Or something like that. I remember that. My dad really liked that song. And I find the song super annoying. But it is a kind of a funny song. I don't really vibe with, kind of like reggae. Not that I don't like some reggae, but not that one. True. Yeah, it's not really my jam, but like it's very catchy and just like the way he like flows through those notes. Red, red wine. That's nice. Chibudi, can you do me a quick favor and type in chat what Kalimoko is supposed to be spelled like? Because I promise you, it looks impossible. There's like a random X in it. It's like, it's what this drink is. It's Coca-Cola and red wine. And I have no idea how to spell it. I know what it is simply because it's so memorable about how wild its spelling is. Its origins are like, I believe, Spain or Portugal or somewhere in that peninsula. And then it's like they have like this crazy festival where they like ride a boat through a river, and then someone hangs like a chicken down the river, and then like they have to jump up and pull the head off the chicken. It's fucked up. And then they like would drink Kalimokos as we do it. Like, look up the actual spelling. Yeah, it's I honestly couldn't tell you where to begin with this drink. Just that it's red. If it helps, it's that it's red wine and yeah, Kalimocho or Kalim. Yes, the second one. Kalimoko is, I believe, how you say this this drink. That's the name of this drink, and it has a wild spelling. From my American eyes, it looks impossible. I don't understand where you get the pronunciation Kalimoko from that spelling. It is surprisingly good. It really is surprisingly good, especially with the fact that I'm using like Diet Coke, which like is not a particularly good mixer either. I like Diet Coke, but in general, the Diet Coke is, when you're using it in a cocktail and you're meaningfully doing it, not just like doing it as a mixer, like you would want some real full-bodied Coke, but this is quite fine. The X in Mexico is supposed to be an H. Maybe it's related to that. Oh yeah, Mexico. Right. Maybe. That would make sense to me. Actually, a little tangent. On the topic of soda, and this is not a cocktail at all, but it's just kind of a secret hack. If you just had a glass of soda, if you just made yourself a glass of soda and just put a few drops of bitters in there, and I'm talking a few drops, don't even like dash it, just literally tilt the bottle over and let a few drops spill into your soda. That enhances the flavor of your soda by a lot too. Like that is another extremely easy hack for if you want a nice drink but you don't really want to put in any effort. Like, bitters and soda has been around since forever and it's delicious. In fact, like when you put that little bitters inside of your soda, you're not adding enough alcohol to ever make you drunk. And so if people put bitters in like Shirley Temples, Um, like a Shirley Temple is just like lime juice, grenadine, and soda water. You mix that together. It's a really nice like grenadine limeade, and then you can just put bitters in it, like just a few drops of bitters to really like enhance some of the flavors, to add some of that like gentian bite to it to make it more soda-y, even more soda-y, and it's really good. And you have not added enough alcohol to really care. I don't drink diet drinks. The fake sugar gave my mom a headache. Doesn't do that for me, but I'm not a fan. I can feel that. I can feel that. It's the sort of thing where it's like, I do understand that it tastes different. It's not a 1-to-1 for sure. It's not something that is like, oh, you can't even notice the difference. No, you can notice the difference. But I do like the fact that it's 0 calorie. Like as someone who is dieting, like it really helps that I'm not drinking any calories when I have a Diet Coke. And then also, like, in some ways I actually do like the flavor better, because it's like there's a certain intensity with like full-bodied like sugary sodas that I can't really agree with, especially my stomach later. Like it really fizzes up in my stomach, makes me very belchy. And then so like a Diet Coke being so much leaner that way, being so much like, I'm not sure if mellower is the right word, but mellow in that way is like really nice to me. At this point, I drink sodas like someone has a dessert. Yeah, I feel the same way. Like I'll have it on a cheat day, or if I'm going out on celebration, like I it makes sodas feel more special too in that way, because it's like, okay, I'm only doing it on special occasions, and therefore like, okay, I'm gonna enjoy this lovely fizzy drink, because they are nice. They are really nice. I can imagine if you don't get a huge rush of satisfaction from your soda and you drink it very often, that's just very unhealthy. And so it's like, I can get that with diet soda, and then knowing that generally people think it's inferior, and then but also it's like super guilt free, so that's why I like it so much. Now I've prepared a nice big jug over here for our next drink, and that's because this is very much a batch drink for the next one. I'm not just This next one isn't so much of a cocktail, because making just one of these sounds crazy to me. I wouldn't even know how to start doing it, especially with the nature of this drink. I only really drink Dr. Pepper anyway. Got a funny story about that. Oh, what's the story? In the meantime, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our bottle of red wine, and we did just make a Calimocho out of it, but I'm just gonna take this entire bottle of red wine and dump it into this thing. Honestly, that didn't fill it up that much. We could probably just do 2 bottles, which I have a second bottle. Screw it, why not? In case I needed it, I bought 2 bottles of this. It's extremely cheap. These are only $5 a bottle, so yeah, why not? Let's make 2 batches. Again, I don't really have a taste for red wine, but I've had some. This is not a particularly good one, but also once again, I bought the literal cheapest one I could afford. So, the literal cheapest one on the market. So, am I live? Am I live? Am I live? Testing, testing. Am I live? Am I live? Let me know if I'm live. I know my model isn't on screen yet. I'll fix that in a second. I just wanted to make sure the stream went back live as soon as I could. So let me know if I'm live. My laptop legit crashed on me, and then my laptop legit crashed, and then so I had to restart. So let me know if I am live. Am I live? Am I live? Am I live? I'll get the model on screen soon. I'm so sorry about this. Am I live? Am I live? Am I live? Okay. 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 We live? Good, good. Okay. Jesus. So literal cheapest one on the market. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So I was mostly just getting ready to respond to your thing, so it was so when I was a kid, I was tested as being on the ADHD spectrum. One sec, I just realized something. I am a PNG right now. Okay. There we go. There we go. Okay. Okay. We good now? We good now? Just making sure. We good now? We good now? Am I live? Am I live? Is everything good? Okay. Okay. Whew. Yeah. Sheesh. When I was a kid, I was tested as being on the ADD/ADHD spectrum. The doctor didn't want me to put me on meds, so he told me to drink the Dr. Pepper because the caffeine immediately worked as depressants instead of a stimulant. Cool. Yeah, actually, I remember there's like I was really into coffee, and I used to bring those like Starbucks Frappuccino bottles. I really love those things, and I just used them as like a quick energy boost as a kid. And then so like there's this particularly ADHD girl in my class, and it's like I offered her some because like we were working on a project together, and she was like, oh, actually caffeine makes me less thing, and I was like, there's no way, that's not a real thing. It's like I wasn't. I don't understand how that works because caffeine is a stimulant. And I was like, I didn't believe her, but I just assumed she didn't want any. So whatever, I didn't press the issue. It wasn't until much later that I realized, oh yeah, sometimes caffeine is a depressant to some people. I'm like, oh, that's weird, but very interesting. So that's why you drink Dr. Pepper. So it's sort of something that like cools you out, mellows you out. That seems like that's like a weird thing. It's like you don't even need cocktails to like relax. In that case, you don't have to drink any like hard liquor. Like in order for me to unwind, like I'll make myself an old fashioned. I'll make myself a daiquiri. I'll make myself some kind of cocktail over here with all my stuff, and then it's like okay, the alcohol like slows me down. I just sip. They're designed to be sipped slowly anyway, so I just kick back on a comfy chair, relax, enjoy the alcohol slowly pouring into my system, and it's like okay, that's a sort of how I get into like to like slow down my energy if I feel like I'm getting too much of it, and it's like it's a depressant in a good way. I'm not like overindulging. Just sometimes like after work, after I'm done like cooking or cleaning or just like relaxing, in, ready to relax in any sort of way, that I just like sit down, enjoy a nice drink, a particularly strong drink. But it's like for you can just have like a Dr. Pepper. Anyways, where was I? Okay, so we have our unbottled red wine here. What we're going to be making is a sangria, and which means blood in some language, as far as I believe. And the way you make a sangria, honestly, I feel like it is illegal for me to make a recipe for you. Just throw in whatever you like. So what I'm gonna do, I have some of the oranges from the old-fashioned episode. They've been sitting around for a while. They're starting to go bad. I figure might as well preserve them. So let's just take this this orange and just slice into it, and honestly just squeeze the juice into it. I'm again, like much like the Kali Mocha, I'm not gonna give any precise measurements. I'm just gonna wing it and put like whatever I feel like putting in there. So let's squeeze the orange juice in there. And I'm legit just gonna drop the whole orange in there. Do the same with the other side. Just squeeze out the juice. Add some nice orangey flavor to that. Get the fibers in there, make it nice and pulpy. I say let's get a second orange. Peel off the sticker. And honestly, just slice this one down into wheels. Ooh, boy. Whatever. It's gonna be extra flavor. And as we know from like the other cocktails where I like put the lemon zest in there or the orange zest in there, like the skins are gonna provide a nice bit of flavor of their own with all the oils and stuff. So it's like, why not? Like, why not just slice this down and then just toss the whole thing in. Oh boy, this might actually be a little too much because I wanted to fill this all the way to the top. There is actually other stuff I wanted to add to this, but we're already like filling it all the way to the top. Was feeling a little bit of cinnamon, so let's just whatever, toss a few sticks of cinnamon in there. Why not? We're just doing whatever you want to flavor your thing. Just add some cut fruits in there, add some cinnamon. Oh, there's like a little stick in there still. Let's see, probably sweeten this up a little bit with some sugar. Again, I'm just not going to measure any of this. I'm just adding a bunch of random stuff to this this little concoction. So I just added a little bit of my simple syrup to it, just to sweeten it up a bit. It's gonna be too full to shake, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna hit this with my bar spoon. It's probably the wrong implement. It's too skinny, too small. But yeah, it's just add a bunch of fruit, add a bunch of spices, just mix it up, and it's going to take on like all this flavor. It's going to just absorb all this flavor, and you're just gonna get a really nice drink that's like you can use all your leftover wine for, and just any your leftover wine, any of your like older fruits that you don't plan on eating, and it's just gonna be lovely. It really is. Like when oh shoot, knocked around the camera a little bit. When you're it's a really economic use of just the stuff that you have lying around, and it's just, oh yeah, that's lovely. Love the use of the Blue Archive music. Thank you, NJ. Nice seeing you, NJ. Let me get myself a glass and we can pour some of this out. Partly because I want to try some of this already, partly because it's too full and I've been wanting to add more. Nice big wine glass, and let's just pour some of our delicious sangria in there. Sangria, it means blood. Packing for a trip, got the notification that you're live, so I thought I'd swing by. Nice. Glad you can arrive. Where you heading out to? Just a quick vacation or like business trip or something? Yeah. As someone who doesn't particularly like wine, just because I haven't tried many wines, a sangria is such a nice way to like elevate a wine, just because like you add whatever you like. I love the oranginess that, well, oranges provide. I love just like, especially with the peel, and like adding a bit of sweetness to really like wake it up, to really adding some of the cinnamon just to give it a little spice. I remembered actually I wanted to put some it's in here somewhere. How do you get so stuck in there? Magfest season again, gonna be gone on Wednesday through Sunday. Oh, nice, awesome. Hope you enjoy yourself then. It's been, oh man, it's been a hot minute since I've been able to enjoy a con. I'm gonna grate some nutmeg over this, because nutmeg is always a nice spice. The people in the past were really obsessed with nutmeg back in the day. Like from medieval times to like the beginning of cocktails in general in like the 1800s, like the late 1800s, like people loved their nutmeg. They would grate nutmeg onto everything, and why not? It just adds so much flavor and character. Oh, lovely, yeah. And that's sangria. Literally take cheap wine, add things to it. Just add fruits, add sweetness, add baking spices. It will be good. I'm gonna actually grate some nutmeg right into here. And obviously, this is gonna get better over time too, because obviously, it's it's gonna take some time for the red wine to really leach all this flavor from the spices, from the fruits, from everything, from the rinds, and then so just like leave it overnight, let it sit for a while. Have some now, have some for the next day, and then you will, and it's gonna taste even better. Like the way I make my sangria, I also like putting apples in it, so I bought some apples as well, and just like, you know, cut some strips into it, skins and all, cores and all. It's all flavor. Toss them in. What exactly was MagFest about, anyways, NJ? What kind of convention is it? I'm not actually 100% sure what it is. Like, obviously stuff like Offkai and Anime Expo are very much like, Anime Expo is like anime culture in general, and then like E3 back when that existed was video games, and then Offkai is obviously for VTubers. What's MagFest all about? And I assume you're going with a bunch of friends. I remember you talked about going with a bunch of friends last time, and that sounded like tons of fun. E3 is a trade show. Game companies are there. MagFest is a video game convention, but informal. Ah, okay. It stands for Music and Games Festival, so it's a bit of everything. Indie games, tabletop games, industry gets, and they got a 24-hour arcade. Oh, that sounds hype. That sounds awesome. I do remember you talking to me last year in chats, or was it last year or a couple years ago? I forget exactly when, but like you had also talked about like how you're gonna get mad drunk at one of your friends' meetups or something, and that sounds like wicked fun. Oh, this is gonna be such a good sangria. It's already better than what's gonna be in my glass. We're gonna be drinking a lot of this sangria because there's a lot I want to talk about. Nothing major at all. In fact, it is completely just benign. I just really want to talk about anime, and so like this episode was gonna be really simple because like there's only really 2 drinks I know how to make with wine, but then and like while we drink tons of wine, I wanted to talk to you about anime. And the hotel bar has video game themed cocktails. Oh, that's rad. That's super rad. I should probably try making some more like video game-esque cocktails. I remember there was some game. Oh yeah, I definitely made a Ghost of Tsushima cocktail, which was literally just poisoned milk, but like not deadly poison milk. I put gin and milk together, which sounded weird to me at the time. Then I remembered that they have like weird milk punches. It's like way back in the day. like before there were cocktails, there were like milk punches. And then they would like clarify milk. They would do stuff with milk to then mix with alcohol, and those were all extremely tasty. Like that gin milk cocktail that I created was actually incredibly tasty. Despite the fact that it's like based on the fact that a Jin Sakai fucking poisoned all the Mongols by putting like lethal flowers into their milk. Like what I did was I put gin with I put Empress gin, which is dyed blue because of butterfly pea flowers, and then that was the poisoned milk that I made, and it was honestly really good. My go-to drink nowadays has become the Cuba Libre. Don't know why, but it's just damn good. Yeah, that's like a fancier rum and coke, right? I actually remember I made something for Bon for YouTuber, the like really drunk, like honestly pretty hot VTuber with like the ribbed sweatshirt and like the really funny drunk face. I actually reached out to her to I reached out to them, sorry. I reached out to them to ask if it was okay to like copy that whole like drunk face thing for my model. And so my next model is gonna have that same similar drunk face, and they were like, yeah, as long as you don't like trace it, it's fine. Like I would love to see another VTuber do that, and it's like I'm excited for that because like I love of their little like Twitter videos of them acting goofy with the drunk face, and it's just it's really cool. And so to bring it all the way back, I made them a lounge lizard because I bought her. Sorry. I bought their what's it called? The mug. I bought their mug, and then I made a lounge lizard in it, which is basically like it's amaretto rum and like Coke, and like so it's like a really really fancy rum and Coke. And it really was so good. Like they know ball in terms of cocktails, but they also like some weird stuff like that. They had a tweet recently about like they went to this bar and they had a bunch of weird shit on the menu, like weird shit in a good way, because it was like there's one with like cheese in it, but I know there's like dessert cheeses, and like in some countries they make dessert drinks with cheese, and like I can see how that works. That sounds exciting. Oh shoot, I just unplugged my phone. Hopefully it doesn't die on me. Give me 1 sec. Okay. And then they had what else did they have? They had like a weird rye drink with a bunch of ingredients I'd never heard of, but it's like a spiced rye drink that sounds really good. And so it's like it seems like it'd be super spicy. It would be like a weirdly savory drink, but it sounds like it unironically sounds amazing, and I really want to try that. And then so yeah, they were like, oh, I have to try this, and I was legit like, I think I can make like 1 or 2 of these, and they were like, oh, I have to try the one with the cheese in it. I'm like, God, I'd be scared to try that, but that's something I really want to try. Hello, T. Nice to see you. We made a Kalimoko, which Chibody typed it in chat how you spell this drink, and I still don't understand how you spell it, but it's just red wine and Coca-Cola. And then I made a house sangria, which is to say I put red wine into this container, and then I just cut a bunch of fruits into it. I put like 2 oranges in there, an apple, some cinnamon sticks. Um, yeah, and that's it. And just letting this basically you ferment, not ferment, like infuse. Infuse is the word I'm going for. Just like infuse all that. Also put some nutmeg in it, and it's really good. And it just proves like you just absolutely do not have to do anything fancy to alcohol in order to make it taste great. I followed Greg's recipe for Cuba Libre 10 out of 10. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, but he always almost he is the whole reason I'm doing bar content. He is the whole reason I started mixology. He is going to be the inspiration for like when I learn how to edit finally at some point. I've been procrastinating on that for so long. The way he does his show, it's very obvious that you see so many mixology YouTubers smaller than him are trying to emulate him specifically. Like, there are other great bartending YouTubers who have all their own style. A lot of the smaller YouTubers in the mixology space are definitely trying to copy Greg. And again, not a bad thing. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. And it's like, yeah, I mean, you copy Greg's style because it's good. It's very authentic. It's very funny. It's very nice. And he just does a good job. And also, his drinks are lovely. He can make some really unique stuff because he's not beholden to like bartender or prejudgments just because it's like he has never been a bartender. He just likes good booze and mixing them together. Alright, so now that we got our sangria going, I really just want to talk about anime because I've really getting into it. I watched all of Netoge recently, and then I watched. Well, I should probably conclude the episode actually. So, yeah, you really do not need to do anything fancy to alcohol in order to do it. This sangria is literally just a bunch of fruits cut and then put into the thing, into the red wine. Mix in a little simple syrup as needed. Put in some baking spices like cinnamon, nutmeg, whatever you like. And just mix it together and it will get better over time as it continues to leach out the flavor. And so you can just make, with cheap wine, a whole batch of just delicious drink that you can always go back to and enjoy. You never need anything fancy to get into mixology. Mixology is actually really easy. It's mastering it is what makes it so much fun because you make all these delicious drinks, you make all these cheap drinks, you make all these simple drinks, and then it makes you want to study advanced techniques. It makes you want to look at fancier boozes. It makes you want to try new things, and then you get better at it. You master new skills. You develop a taste for better drinks. You develop your own styles in terms of making your own drinks and through adapting formulas and twisting them your own way. And you can make great drinks. And whenever you're feeling lazy, you can always fall back on lazy drinks that don't take much effort at all, but still taste great. The best part is that the longer the sangria sits, the better it's gonna get. Oh hell yeah. Oh hell yeah. It's all that orange peel and like the pulp and then like the cinnamon sticks that we threw in there, like that's all gonna get into the drink and it's gonna be lovely the more time passes. Mm, pulpy. Okay, so talking time, and again, 100% benign. I just really wanted to yap about anime because it's been so long since I really got deep into anime, and it's man, there was one. So this is more of a general talk because I was wondering. I've been rewatching Shuffle, which is one of the first anime I ever watched. Maybe we can start with that. That's in general. I watched all through Netoge. I forget the full title of it. It's like, I believe it's the English title is something along the lines of like my wife in game is my girlfriend in real life or something like that. Or my wife in game is actually a girl in real life, and that was a silly show. I actually so that one was a silly show, and like the whole thing is like he in game like he had his heart broken because like he legit fell in love with another player, wanted to get married to that player in game, but then realized that the the player he wanted to marry said that she was as an old man in real life, and so he got so turned off. He was so like, it was like a huge reality check for him. It's like, oh, games and real life are not the same, and so he got super depressed. But then he decided to get back into it and like just really like he met another cute girl in game, so that and ended up marrying her. And it's like, it's fine, whatever. It's just in game. Her model's cute. It's okay, and I'm just gonna keep it to in game. But then the everyone in his guild decided to go like, hey, we should meet up IRL so that we can finally see each other and hang out. And then so they meet up, and like the group is him. He's the tank. He's like a knight in heavy armor. You have this cocky guy who is like blonde hair, also heavy armor, but he like very aggressive, swings around two swords and acts like a badass. The way the localization did it was like, so he refers to himself as Ore-sama, and then the way they translated that is my bad self, and I'm like, oh my goodness. It's so cringe, but it's like, it is kind of cringe to call yourself Ore-sama, so it kind of makes sense. And then their spellcaster, their mage, who is like a pay-to-win player. They have all the premium items. They buy like they spend real world money for in-game currency, and they buy all the best equipments. They buy all these premium items, and it's kind of like a smug but an overconfident dude because he has all this premium stuff. And then the healer, who is the cute girl that's the tank married, and it's just like, she's a typical healer, dresses out, intentionally create her armor set to be cute rather than functional, so she's not very good at the game in general. Like, she's not good at the game to begin with, and then she doesn't have optimal armor because she doesn't because she's using in like whatever's cutest, not whatever's best. And they're like, okay, let's meet up IRL. And it came up because like Akko kept insisting, the healer kept insisting that, no, I'm a girl in real life, I want to meet you, Rushian. Rushian is the name of the main character. And then the guild leader, the pay to win mage, was like, yeah, I'm actually a girl in real life too. I bet you didn't know that about me. And he just doesn't believe a word of it. And it's like the guy, the second guy, the warrior class is like, oh yeah, I got confessed to by someone, but I broke up with, but I didn't let him because I don't want to have a relationship in real life. I'm fine. I'm fine with my bad self playing in the video games instead. And it's like no one believed him that he was like this super cool character. Meanwhile, in this guy's IRL, oh, there's this girl who's like really kind of, I won't say abusive, but she just doesn't give him the time of day at all. And then there's also the student council president, who is like very beautiful, very beloved, but like leads kind of a lonely existence because everyone feels like she's untouchable. It's like, oh, it's so hard to talk to the student council president because she's such an elite, she's from a rich family, all that stuff. And then so like they meet up IRL, and then he finds out that the cocky warrior guy is the like popular girl that is always ignoring him. The pay to win mage wasn't capping. She actually was the student council president, and that's why she can afford to pay to win so much, is the fact that she's from a rich family. Like, pay to winning in a video game is like nothing to her. It's like spare change to her. And then it turns out like the healer who's bad at playing the game was like this cute shut-in girl who doesn't have any friends, and who was in the class next to him, and then looks exactly like her character in game. And then so it's like, oh, it's and then just like shenanigans ensue as like, oh, now he can't like unsee the fact that like everyone's, oh my god, the cool dude in the group, the normie dude, is actually like the popular girl. The mage, the pay to win mage, is the student council president, and then like the girl he's married to in game is actually the girl. It legit, it's basically 1-to-1 the girl IRL, and it's just, it's crazy. What's the discussion about in anime? Yeah, I was just talking about Netoge, and so I mentioned all that, and the main thing is that like, honestly, like I did play a lot of MapleStory back in the day with a few of my like IRL friends. I've never really met strangers online and wanted to do an IRL meetup. I wasn't sure how common that actually is, because like, I don't know, like maybe it's partly a trust issue of like, oh yeah, I was raised on don't talk to strangers type thing, and so it's like, as much as we can play together online together, it's tough for me to imagine that. But also just like, I don't know, how would that conversation even come up, like wanting to do an IRL meet at some point? Because I know some guild will do that IRL, and just like, it's like, I mean, I can imagine it at like a convention. It's like, oh, you go into the NJ's talking about it, like you're obsessed with FF14 since you rejoined it. Like, oh, we're going to the convention. You want to meet up there, and like we can meet here at this restaurant and chat and hang out and all that. So I'm just like, is that basically the only way it would come up? I've never really had. I'm not really sure how it would come up to A, want to meet up, and B, like actually meeting up and like becoming friends IRL in addition to in-game. It feels like a difficult hurdle, especially given that, like, you know, maybe you guys live far apart, and so therefore you really wouldn't be able to meet up that often anyways. I don't know, maybe I'm overthinking it, but it does seem like a weird scenario. Like, in some ways it's a weird scenario, in other ways like it's not that crazy, given that, like, again, like I did have school friends where I did actually meet them every day, because I mean we were friends in school, and so we would hang out during lunch, maybe talk a little MapleStory, maybe talk a little bit about anime, but I don't know. does this taste right now? Ooh, this tastes really good. Oh my god, this tastes really good. Hold up. Oh, it's like full to bursting. See if I can't like shake this up a little bit. Now that I can finally close it. I might need to sweeten it a little bit more. It did taste a little under sweetened, but we'll see. Oh god, can I not close this? Oh shit. Oh shit. It happens. One of my closest friends I met in a WoW guild literally 20 years ago. Oh, that's awesome. That's really cool. Just like, is it the sort of thing where it's like, okay, you were strangers to each other, but then it's like when you at some point it came up about meeting up and you're like, oh wait, we live closer together than I thought, and you guys met up and then ended up forming a deep bond that way? Or is it more like maybe it's just like you went to the same convention, you deepened your bond there, and then so like all your online interactions after that was a little more special? It also sort of brings up the idea of like online dating. Yeah, this needs a little more sweetness. Just gonna add a little more. I'm gonna have to add a little more simple to the main batch, but I'm just gonna add some simple to this too. Ooh. Ooh, that is so good. Oh yeah, this is a good batch of sangria. I am down for that. I forgot to add more nutmeg though, but that's not super important. It was more like the game was our medium to meet, since he had lives on the opposite side of the country to me. We have met IRL console. Ah, okay, yeah. I can see that too. It's like, okay, you might chat about with someone online about something in game, and then it's like, okay, there really isn't any other mode of communication for you guys outside of the game, but then like sheesh, okay, I'm gonna have to fix that later, but so it I guess no I guess I because it's sort of like before Discord and stuff like that, like your means of being able to chat with like-minded strangers online was these MMOs. Like I remember in MapleStory, I wasn't particularly keen on actually playing it that often. I would just log in to like chat with people because it was an extension of like being able to chat with my friends in school, just now online through the game. And then like I half the time I wouldn't even be playing, or maybe I'm doing something mindless like grinding in a certain place, just grinding, building up money, building up experience points and whatnot. And then so like that really doesn't take a ton of like mental energy in order to it doesn't take a lot of mental energy to actually do much in the actual game, so I'm just using it to talk to people. Now, before Discord, we had Skype, and before Skype, we had TeamSpeak. Oh yeah, isn't TeamSpeak making a weird comeback? I legit have never heard of TeamSpeak. I think I heard of no, I've heard of TeamSpeak because someone mentioned it, but I was like, oh, so it's like older, even older Skype, and it's like okay, and that was like the end of the conversation for me. But I didn't realize it was making a resurgence. I do remember being on Skype for hella long before moving to Discord at one point. That's a, but yeah, and that was ostensibly a romance anime because of the fact that like at some point he does fall in love with the girl he married online, and he's trying to figure out a way to like actually talk to her because like a funny aspect of their relationship is the fact that like he she legit rejects his love confession because it's like he's like, Akko, will you be my girlfriend? And then she rejects him, not because she doesn't like him IRL, but it turns out it's like why would I want to downgrade to being his girlfriend? I want to be his, I'm already his wife. And it's like because there is a key thing is like they're trying to help her like separate reality from fiction because like she's too deep into the game and doesn't understand, has a difficulty like separating those two lives, and then so they're trying to teach her that. But then like throughout the entire show, no matter how much she grows as a person, she's like no matter what happens, I'm going to be your wife, like, both in game and in reality. I wonder if those kinds of relationships ever happen. Probably not, but it is a funny thought. I've been watching Kaguya-sama because I realized a lot of shows I like end up being like mildly ecchi, and then so like I had to find something that was much safer, and I started rewatching Kaguya-sama. I did watch the first season back when there were not more seasons, and then at that point like VTubers happened and I stopped watching anime because VTubers had taken up that time. Because of my new schedule, I can't really watch VTubers anymore, and so I ended up getting back into anime, and so I'm getting caught up with the Kaguya-sama Love is War. Oh my god, what a funny show that is. And it has such good theme song. I mentioned it before, like a big reason I get into anime is the theme songs. And Jesus Christ, like Love Dramatic is so good. I finally got to listen to Daddy Daddy Do, and Jesus Christ, just it's like Love is War has like that James Bond feel to it. Like, and then Love Dramatic rather, the first season's theme song, and then like the second one is like jazzy, it's like really bouncy. I'm not sure how to describe it, but it's like super cool. And it's like, oh my goodness, the theme music is so good, the show is hilarious. Like if you describe the show, because I was thinking about this and it's so funny to me, and I just love like how they legitimately treat love like war, where it's like, oh, whoever confesses first loses, and they're doing all this stuff to try to get the other to fall in love with them, to get them to say I love you first. And it's like a really cute romp and everything, but then it's like you realize like the whole premise of the show is taking the really annoying anime trope of like a character can't be honest with their feelings, and so they beat around the bush and try to make them say it, but then like exaggerate that as far as they possibly can and turn it and make that into a show, and it's amazing. And it's like it's so good. It really is so funny. Like the leaps in mental logic, that like Olympic level leaps in mental logic they do in order to explain, like in order to like highlight their mentality in this war. And it's so great. I'm getting caught up on that. And then I've also been watching Shuffle on the side, which is actually the first ever anime that I ever watched. Real anime, I should explain. So obviously I watched like the like kids anime that were on like mainstream TV, like Yu-Gi-Oh, like Pokemon, like what other like super kiddie anime was on at like like in the afternoon after school, like those animes. I don't really count those because in my mind as an 8-year-old they were cartoons, right? Like they were just like the afternoon cartoons. So they weren't really anime in my eyes yet. And then, and I never do this, I'm not this stupid, but like I remember watching something and then there was like a banner ad on the website, and I know not to click banner ads, but for whatever reason they were advertising this thing named Shuffle, and it's like this romance anime with like some really nice looking characters, and it was interesting, and it was like, you know what, I'm curious enough to chance this. I clicked on it and it took me to this page where it's like, oh yeah, the Shuffle coming soon to DVD. Buy now for like $24.99 or however much it costs. And then links that let you watch the first 2 episodes for free. It was like the official Funimation thing. It was, if it existed back then. Whatever like main like anime localization company. So it was an ad for them. So it was legit, but it was still like I still clicked on a banner ad, which feels sketchy. And they let you watch the first 2 episodes for free in dub, and I actually didn't mind the dub. As I'm rewatching it now, I watched it all the way through in JP because they weren't available in English. And then so like I figured out a way to watch anime online. Yarhar site, of course. It was back then. And then I watched it all the way through. It's just a lovely show, but the thing is so I was hardcore into my rock phase, and I think this is why I value I'm pretty sure this is why I value this is why I value theme songs so much, because this is the Shuffle theme song. Let me try loading it up. One sec. Can you hear it? Yeah, it should be playing. Fucking guitar. I won't play the whole song, but I want you to get a sample. The guitar just like really hooked me because I was deep into my rock phase, and just like my favorite, I still love classic rock. It's like I love 80s rock. And then the TV size version of that would just end on like another guitar solo. It continues from there. That was like the full version of the song. But Jesus Christ, that it goes so hard with the guitar and just like the shredding right at the beginning of the song and like the really strong strumming in the middle of the verses, and it's just, oh my goodness, like, and no, this is fully a romance anime. It's not like an actiony show with like tons of like fighting and everything. No, it's like fully like a harem romance. It's like it's fully a harem romance type thing where it's like, okay, he's just like picking, he's hanging out with these girls, he's just trying to pick a wife between them, and it can be mildly etchy at times, it's romantic, it's cringy at times, as he's the dense protagonist for a while, but man, that theme song is so good. And it's like, that's what really hooked me, is just like especially as a dumb teen, I was like not really keeping up with the story that well, but then it's just like listening to that theme song every time I start up an episode just felt awesome. It's a really awkward show, especially in English though. And I think honestly, so I do honestly think the English dub is actually quite good. That might be nostalgia talking, for the record. I watched it first in English and then just got really used to the English voices. So it might not be a good dub after all, but I liked it. And so I prefer to watch it in dub. And I do think there's a little bit of a there's a weirdness to the dub because of the fact that like I think the script is a little bit bad. Like the script is a little bit awkward, and that's probably like in retrospect and now, especially watching it again, that I think that's why I think the dub is good, is because it's like they take this awkward script and still make it sound pretty natural, pretty decent. And I think the the vocal direction is better in dub, because I say Sia and Nerene are like, they don't have the voice I would imagine them to have with their backgrounds in in the Japanese, in the original Japanese dub, because like I think Sia I think Sia is relatively fine, but then like Nerine, the purple haired demon girl, if you ever look up Shuffle is the name of this anime, for the record. Um and then they have like it's this weird world where like gods and demons like mingle with the human population, and so like the gods have like slight, it's a pointy ears, and then the demons have particularly exaggerated pointy ears, and like they have magical powers, but they really don't do much with it, because the whole point is like, because they're trying to mingle with humans, it's like they are very much discouraged from using their powers in the human world to not mess with the order of the human world. um and so Nerine had like a pretty weirdly high pitched and like sort of like unconfident, I would say, probably tone with her JP dub, the original Japanese voice. Whereas in English, she does have more of an elegance to her. She has more of like a she has more of an elegance to her. She has more of like a refined nature to her voice that the English dub artist used. Oh boy. Okay, there we go. My hand was lagging. Um and then I think and then like instead of being like somewhat awkward, it's more like she's very inexperienced, because that's her character, is the fact that she's been royalty. They're both like the queens of their respective the princesses of their respective realms, like the Sia, the goddess that is one of the love interests, is the princess of the realm of the gods. And then so like if Reen were to marry her, then he would eventually become Reen is the main character. If Reen were to marry her, then he would become the king of the gods. And then Nerine is the princess of the demons. So if she married her, she'd be the princess of the demons. But the thing is, like, Sia in general, like, does take care of herself. She knows how to cook. She manages herself. Whereas in Nerine is has kind of lived more of a aristocratic life. She's lived more of an aristocratic life, and then so she doesn't know how to cook in the beginning of the show. She doesn't really know how to clean after herself. She doesn't really know how to like take care of herself in a general sense. And then so like that sort of like inexperience comes out a little better with the English dub than it does the Japanese, I think, because like the Japanese vocal direction just kind of makes her out into a somewhat awkward girl, whereas like you get more of the like refined princess with like a clear speaking voice, but then like inexperience in the ways of commoner life with the English dub. And so I think that's why I think the vocal direction and the way they can elevate a somewhat awkward script is why I end up liking the English dub more. As for the show itself, it is a fun little thing. I was thinking about this the other day, was like, I really like that because it was from that era where we had 24 episode anime, like, you get plenty of time to get to know every single one of the harem before the character makes his decision, which is in and of itself a very nice thing too, is that the character actually picks a girl as opposed to like staying on the common route and like ending the show without having picked anyone. But like you get like 2 or 3 episodes about Kaede, you get 2 or 3 episodes about Asa, you get 2 or 3 episodes about Sia, you get 2 or 3 episodes about Nerine, you get like a 4 episode thing that's all about Primula, which is like pretty dramatic and like really helps contextualize the world. Then you get a few more bonus episodes with like more dramatic episodes with like Sia, Nerine, Kaede, Asa, and then he it's very clear that he's picked a favorite. He has decided to start dating Asa. Asa would be the green-haired one you were to Google the shuffle heroines. And like it's weird because it's sort of like in terms of all that pacing, because it's like I haven't finished the show, but I have watched it before, so I know how it's gonna end, though I don't remember the exact details. It's like they spend like I said, like 2 episodes like introducing the world, chunks of episodes like giving each heroine their time in the limelight, a big lore chunk to like really establish the realities, the darker realities of this world. And then like you get like 7 episodes of like the romance and the drama between him and Asa and how it affects the other girls. And so like I so that definitely works for like a visual novel adaptation for Shuffle. I'm not 100% sure how I feel about it because I'm thinking about like other shows that were 24 episodes back in that era, and I feel like in a sense like sometimes they felt a little bit stretched, like they were like they had to fill it with fluff in order to get to that 24. But then I think about nowadays where like most anime are somewhere between 10 and 13 episodes, and it's like I'm not sure if that's enough because take Kaguya-sama, the show I really love. Like that show could have been a 24 episode thing, and they could afford to stretch out some of the storylines a little better because it does feel like with 10 to 13 episodes it's rushed. I felt that way in Konosuba, where it's like, man, if they could flesh out some more of these arcs, these funny story arcs, like it would be an even better show if it was like 15 to 20 episodes instead. But then meanwhile, like Netoge, the one I was talking about with like the friends online meeting up and whatnot, like that show did feel like 10 episodes was enough. Like it's just a silly, meaningless little romp, and so it didn't need all that explanation. It's probably just a case by case basis, but it's also like, I don't know, like if I had to lean one way or the other, I would lean to the 24 episode side instead of the 13 episode side, because I just feel like there's not enough in that 13 episodes. Because if you took Shuffle and instead of 24 episodes, it was like a 13 episode anime, I feel like you would have to rush through, like, each heroine only gets like one episode each, or like they combine multiple heroines into like half of 3 episodes, and so you get like half a Kaide arc that's like really condensed, half a Asa arc that's really condensed, half a Narune arc that's really condensed, half an Sia route that's extra condensed. 2 episodes instead of like 4 episodes of like Primula's struggles, and then like 5 or 6 episodes of the Asa Reen romance instead of the full 7 that we're getting. And it's like, if you do have to stretch some things for just fan service or just to like inflate in general the story to 24 episodes, like I feel like that's better, because at least you get a more comprehensive and better managed storyline, as opposed to like condensing it, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't feel as satisfying, whereas like, okay, like if it was stretched out, like it feels like a little too much, but at least you were satisfied. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure. It does make me wonder too. Actually, one sec. More sangria, please. You sent this hella long ago, but I'm sorry I'm responding to it now. Before Skype, I had IRC. Remind me what IRC was again? I know this needs more sugar, so I'm gonna add a little more sugar to this, shake it up, and then pour myself another glass. Some more sugar, some more nutmeg. In before like my chat bot hasn't been working, and I've just been missing messages left and right. Oh yeah, yeah, I've been missing messages left and right. I'm so sorry. Let's see. The Yeah, the nature of dubbing depends a bit on its intended audience. Like kids anime TV dubs used to be wackier collector stuff. Oh yeah, there's like, I know there's like a lot of for kids memes, for better and for worse. Like so, like obviously like there's a lot of for kids examples where it's like very much the reason why good localization is important, because it's like they really butcher some of it. But then also there's also, because of some that insane ridiculous mistranslations, it's actually like really funny. Like there's some really funny ways they localize stuff, like the whole like jelly donut thing for Pokemon when he's clearly holding up onigiri. And internet relay chat text only. I'm still not 100% sure what that is. I don't remember anything like that. I think I've seen some of it. I'm sure if you showed me some of it, I would recognize it. I just don't remember it very well. Let me reboot my chatbot to see if it's. See if it's less on the fritz this time. Oh, there we go. Oh, there we go. IRC was basically Discord without images. Ah, okay, I see, I see. Okay, yeah, there we go. Fixed it. I just had to reboot it. Nice, nice. Pour myself more sangria before we move on to the next thing. Well, no images and not calling. I mean, I barely call people on Discord anyways. It feels so awkward when you like accidentally hit the call button or you accidentally hit the voice chat button. like I'm super shy about ironically because I'm a VTuber, but like I'm super shy about like my voice. Oh my goodness, it really is getting better over time. It's now I got like a nice hit of apple out of this one. And like plenty of the nutmeg and the cinnamon. Yeah, the orange penetrating through it. I'm not getting a lot of zest, surprisingly, zest flavor from it. But they are relatively old oranges, and one of them got visited by the old fashioned fairy, so there's not much skin on it to begin with, so that probably explains it. But oh my goodness, that's good. So I do wonder if there's like a business reason. That's gotta be the main thing for why like there's 13 episode animes now, because it's like all 13 episode animes, like from the biggest flops to like amazing stuff like Kaguya-sama. It's like everything is 13 episodes. It's like exactly one season, just like couple 3 months worth of episodes, and it's like is there like a business related thing to that? Is there a reason why we don't get 24 episode animes anymore? It's like you can only approve for one season at a time or something. Because even as like Shuffle is relatively old. I know Clannad was also a 24 episode thing, which had the same sort of visual novel structure of giving every heroine the limelight. And then it's like I was SAO like always a 24 episode anime? I was pretty sure it was, because it's like, okay, we did the first season and like they are two completely separate arcs. Like I like the first one was SAO, the next one was AOO? Yeah, AOO. And then it's like, but still it was like one continuous 24 episode season, which it is more in line with the way I was used to begin with. Some of them are now 12 episodes with 13 episode with the manga packed in. I did realize that it's like there's a lot more OVAs too. It's like you didn't necessarily need an OVA because of the fact that you didn't necessarily need an OVA because there's just so much episode to go around, and there was bound to be one or two fan service episodes anyways. But nowadays it's like even a super serious story based show that's very continuous as opposed to like episodic will have an OVA. Like ReZero has an OVA. Probably cost, maybe uncertainty, workaround time. Like, there's no guarantee that something will be popular enough to warrant the 24. I guess. Maybe enough shows flopped that were a 24 episode this series that they were like, you know what, we should just take this one season at a time to see if it's actually good enough to get a second season. Because like there, the other huge issue is like Konosuba. It's like that was 10 episodes, and then they had to wait a bit for a second season. Isn't there a third season now? But like it took a while for a second season, was there not? And then that's like, and then that was another 13 episodes. When it's like, if it was, it did seem like an immediate hit, and if it was clearly popular, like why not just do the whole 24? But I guess like they couldn't know that at the time. Yeah, please do this with your cheap wine. It's so good. It unironic, like sangrias might be one of my favorite drinks, and it's like absolutely zero effort. You literally just chop some fruit and then throw them into a bottle of wine. Mm. Uh oh my god, I'm thinking of like Code Geass too. Just like, man, I should rewatch that. Code Geass was super good. Wasn't there a third season for that too recently? God, there are a lot of old shows. Oh my god. Did you ever watch Shakugen no Shana? Because I remember waiting desperately for season three. So to get back to focus on Code Geass for a second, to get back to Code Geass, I'm glad I watched it like well after the fact, because apparently people were losing their fucking minds over season the way season one ended. Because it's like, first of all, Code Geass is just hard to, even as a marathoner, but I couldn't imagine what it was like for people watching it as it was coming out at the time. Every fucking episode of Code Geass ended on a cliffhanger. So something was about to happen, episode ends, ending theme song plays, and like you had to wait a week for the next episode, and then the end of it, and like cover your ears for like 10 to 30 seconds. And so for this, the fucking end of season one ends with like Lelouch and Suzaku aiming guns at each other, yelling their names, Lelouch, Suzaku, and then just fucking fire. Screen goes black. They both fire a shot. Ending theme song plays, and then it's a full year before they start season two. And I can't imagine how fans were feeling about how that turns out. It was painful for me even as a marathoner. So like even without like living through it as someone who didn't watch it at the time, like it's so hard for me to like put down that show, because it's like I'm watching it. Uh I'm watching it, and like every episode ends on the cliffhanger. It's like, oh fuck, I have to know what happens next. Oh fuck, I need to know what happens next. Oh fuck, I need to know what happens next. Like I can't put it down, and it's like it'd be like like 1 a.m. and I have school the next day, and it's like, God, but I really want to know what happens next, but I really need to sleep. So, oh, like I'm glad like I reached the end of season one, see that massive cliffhanger, and get to actually just watch season two, episode one right away. Because it would have eaten away at me too if I had watched that and had to wait a whole fucking year for that. I know more about the production of Geass than the show itself. Like the original designs are clamped but finalized by Takahiro Kimura, who is a favorite of mine. Takahiro Kimura. Won't lie, that name doesn't ring any bells. They did make good designs though. Fucking all of them really, just like really cool designs. The male characters really cool. The female characters was interesting. They all had like stick legs though. They were like they had some like really weirdly skinny designs, if I recall correctly. It's been a long time. It's been so long to get to now to Shakugan no Shona. Ah, Shakugan no Shana. I remember getting super deep into that. I watched that. I watched both seasons. I waited forever for season 3, but by then I was in like I watched all those when I was like in middle school or early high school. And then Shakugan no Shana 3 didn't happen until I was in college, and by that point I was too busy to watch anime. And then also VTubers happened, so I couldn't watch that. And so I never watched Shakugan no Shana 3, and I'm like, oh man, I really need to rewatch Shakugan no Shana at some point because I was super duper into that. I remember that was one of the huge shows of that era. The legs were clamped. Yeah, yeah. I remember all of them had like ridiculously skinny legs. Something I wish I had. My legs are kind of like meaty. It's funny. I'm like trying to slim down. I've been working out a lot over the past 2 years, ever since I did that one resolution stream way back long ago. And like I have lost a lot of weight. I have gotten very notably skinnier. I'm very proud of myself. I'm still going because I really want to make sure like I fit into cosplays like really nicely and look good. But a weird side effect is that I've been doing so much running and walking is that like my legs have gotten like super meaty instead of like slender, and it actually kind of bothers me. It actually does kind of bother me because it's like okay, it's nice that I'm fit. It's nice that my legs feel tight and strong and muscular, but it's also like I kind of wish they were more. I kind of wish they were less as meaty. But the Code Geass characters don't have that problem because they all look like they were made out of sticks, like actual toothpicks. They were so slender. You might as well have drawn two lines. Actually, now I'm curious. Let me actually look it up real fast. Code Geass. Oh, what the frick? Stop it. Images. Oh my god, there's like a lewd art in Google Images of CC and Colin. Oh yeah, yeah. They have really slender limbs in general. Dude, Lelouch straight up in this one art, this one official art, looks like he has like the Skeletor build or like Jack Skellington build. Kimura was big in the 90s, did non H and H. Ooh, spicy. Very spicy. That won't lie, that's a huge reason I got into Netoge because I knew it was Hisashi, right? Was Netoge Hisashi? I recognize the art style from a lot of H dojins, admittedly, but I definitely remember the art style. I know for a fact that they are more known for Edo Dojinshi, but I can't remember the exact artist. But it was Hisashi, right, for Netoge. Um, but yeah, that is the main reason I watched that show was because I knew it was like an H artist I liked. However, like it was actually like a cute show, so I really quite enjoyed it. Actually, I know. One of my favorites is artist is Puyocha Sensei, who is very much an H artist, very much like they built their brand on H art. That being said, I think they're working on a. Aren't they working on like a safer work manga right now that's really good? I would love to see like because I know they were making. I know they drew Sao Progressive, and I really need to collect all the volumes that they drew for Sao Progressive. I love Sao Progressive, and man, I'm super into seeing what they can make out of that. Wasn't it also like Takeda Hiromitsu? Takeda Hiro, Jesus, Takeda Hiromitsu, who does some really depraved stuff, like truly like crazy stuff. I think they legit like popularized the Ahaikao, but it's like didn't they have an anime like Makinki? They drew Makinki, didn't they? I don't know if you'll like the style, but look up Swan White Gao Gai Gar for why I like Kimura. Swan White Gao Gai Gar. Ah, stop it, stop it. Okay, there we go. Um, what was it again? Swan White. Okay, shit. Uh, Swan White Gao Gai Gar. Oh, oh, this style is Kimura. This style is Kimura. One sec. I feel like I recognize this from somewhere. I 100% recognize this from somewhere. In before I'm outing myself, and it's like, oh, that was from some like really hardcore hentai. But I definitely feel like I recognize this from somewhere. Hold up, give me one sec. Let me just. Is it her? Is this the character you're referring to? I know nothing about this character. However, the art style really, really reminds me of something. I don't know what, but it really, really reminds me of something. Yeah, yeah, that's Swan. Okay, yeah, yeah. No, I really like that style. Actually, I really like that style. It's bothering me that I don't recognize it, but like I definitely feel like I've seen that style from somewhere. I know a lot of HRists like dip into like actual manga, mostly because that's actually their main goal is that they really want to make real manga at some point. So it's like they're always working for a way in, and even if they are perverts who actually do love making H manga, and it's just that they want to try their hand at something safe for work, it's like they always want to try, even if their main calling is a Edo manga. Um, which let's see. I was thinking about it. Sho- uh, Shokugeki no Soma. Isn't the Shokugeki no Soma artist a former HRs? I remember actually talking to someone at an anime convention about this, and it was one of the booths actually, like the person from the booth, and we were talking about like H artists who actually did like really popular TV shows. It was like they had on sale the original Edo manga that's the Shokugeki no Soma artist made before, and I was like, I don't actually recognize the Shokugeki no Soma artist. However, based on what I've seen on the show, based on what I've seen in the manga, and how far he goes with the ecchi, I was like, I'm pretty sure this guy has done hentai before. I'm 100% sure that he's done it. And then like lo and behold, he did have like a tankoban, and then so oh, he was trying to sell me that, or he was like that was the way we were advertising. It's like, hey, yo, like I didn't even work at that booth, but it was like it's fun talking to that guy, someone else who knows ball about it, and it was like, yo, did you know this was from the actual Shokugeki no Soma artist? And it's like, oh shit, and like they managed to sell a bunch of copies. Um, For H stuff, Kimura is known for the Viper series, Chai Viper V16. I knew it. I knew it. The second I read the Viper, I'm like, oh, wait, nope, I actually do remember this. Oh my goodness, I was right. It's like, nope, he did some like really hardcore stuff. Because I do remember Viper being particularly intense. That makes me look at Code Geass characters in a whole different light now too. I heard Shokugeki no Soma though actually is like legitimate cooking advice. I uh this was long before I watched Dumbbell, but like I know Dumbbell is full of legitimate workout advice, and that's why people really love it. Um, whatchamacallit? I think with Shokugeki no Soma, in general, it's good cooking advice. However, some of it is like over exaggerated or like not conclusive or straight up wrong. Because I do remember there's slightly conflicting. I think the general consensus is that they do provide some actual real good advice and good recipes for cooking, but it's not like a full-fledged like, oh, you can transcribe the whole show into a cookbook. No, you can't. Like it's some of it is reals. uh, Jesus, some of it is real, some of it is not particularly good, but it's like if you follow some of the recipes, they will be pretty good. Oh, Food Wars. Yeah, yeah. That's what I mean by Shokugeki no Soma. I didn't know the English term, but when I say Shokugeki no Soma, I mean Food Wars. The US got a translation of Pokemon manga called The Electric Tales of Pikachu. The mangaka also did H stuff. I was gonna say, like, I feel like I remember a Pokemon. I feel like I remember a Pokemon thing that, if not from Kimura, looked like Kimura style, which feels like what I was thinking of before you reminded me of Viper. The Electric Tales of Pikachu. I feel uh, there was there not a manga that Kimura did then? Because I feel like I've seen that art style in a Pokemon manga. I definitely feel like I've seen one of those in a Pokemon manga. Something from Kimura. Did Kimura not do uh, Pokemon manga? Hmm. I'm not sure Kimura ever did full fledged manga. I can check. Okay, okay. Meanwhile, I can't figure out if the Senran Kagura uh, artist did Senran Kagura first and then did the NSFW stuff or the other way around. Because I know they were the lead artist for Evinical, and then there is an artist who draws Senran Kagura characters who are in lewd states, like actual like NSFWH type stuff. That is so uncannily the same art style that I suspect it's just the artist is the NSFW page, but I'm not 100% sure. But it's pretty based that they would be allowed to draw NSFW of their own property because of their own characters. Because I know like if like the reason why an H artist couldn't like draw NSFW of their own characters is because they don't technically own them. They it belongs to the company, the publishing company, so that's why they avoid drawing NSFW of their own characters. It is cool that like if it really is the Senran Kagura official artist that they can draw an SFW of their own character. I know that's a thing with Azure Lane too. Like Dishwasher is like one of the artists for Azure Lane characters, but then also he draws as H of his own characters very frequently too. It's kind of astonishing, and so it's really kind of based. Oh man, I'm getting super wine drunk. I think by now I've drank most, if not a full bottle worth of wine. And this conversation has derailed from like anime I've been watching to like anime by H artists. I can't help it. I can't help it. What makes me know an artist pretty well is if they've done H. Mangaka are kind of a crazy breed of their own because they're like storytellers and artists at the same time. Whereas like, is that true for like Western comic books too, or the comic artist is also the writer, right? I haven't watched actual anime for a while since VTubers. I feel 100% the same way. When VTubers really started getting popular, I stopped watching anime because they took up the time I spent watching anime. Now that I'm night shift and it's hard for me to watch most VTubers in general, I started getting back into anime. Which I think feels like it makes me a better VTuber because it's been hard to really discuss stuff in a Zatsudan format like this. It's because other VTubers like talk about anime all the time. It's like I can't relate because I haven't watched anime in a while. But now I'm getting back into anime and I feel like I can relate again. And then my general weird taste in anime because I rarely watch the mainstream stuff. Not because I'm trying to be hipster or anything, but it's because like I have weird criteria for what gets me into an anime. being night shift is hard. I am starting to dabble back into Japanese VTubers because like since I'm up all night when the Western VTubers aren't on, I end up being I end up being the only ones available to watch for me are the Japanese VTubers, which is like reopening that feeling of first getting into VTubers before there was any major ENs, and like feeling nostalgic. I'm watching a lot more Ars Almal, for instance. I'm watching a lot more like Lane Patterson and whatnot. There's oh my god, oh my god, we're back on H again. Well, I tuned into Angie Katrina's stream recently, and I don't I don't really understand Japanese all that well. I I kind of lost. I kind of lost out in terms of like studying Japanese very much, but I still retain some of it. So I'm like listening to it. I'm understanding like probably about 15 to 20% of it, and like I'm just listening to it because I like her voice, like, even if I can't understand it. And then I listen to something, and I could swear to God she's talking about anal for some reason. I'm like, what the fuck? Did I hear that right? What? And then she's talking about like Doskebe Sensei, and I was like, what? What am I listening to? What the fuck is going on in this stream? And it's like a full on Zatsudan stream, and she's just explaining something in Japanese that I don't fully understand. And then so I look at the screen finally, and she has like this grid set out on like a PowerPoint, and it's like something that I assume is a title. They're all in Japanese characters, and then on the right is what I assume is artists because I know it's at the top, Fatal Pulse. And I'm like, oh, she's discussing what Edo manga she bought at Kamiket. And it's like, and then I got reminded that she's part of the Skebe Club. So that's the secret to not being demonetized on YouTube, is to just not speak English, because I guess it's very much okay to talk about stuff like that as long as YouTube doesn't understand you enough. The YouTube automated moderation doesn't understand you. In the US, writers artists are less common in the corporate structure. Ever since the 90s, Marvel and DC have emphasized writers because in the 90s, their most popular artists formed Image Comics. Image Comics, what's that? That does sound very Angie. It does sound very Angie. Very, very much so. It definitely sounds very Angie Katrina. I love her. She was one of the first VTubers that I really, really liked. Anju, Gundo Mire, Suisse, who uh, Anju and Suisse still going strong, is very nice. Funnily enough, Korone was one of the very first VTubers I watched, but I haven't actually watched her recently. I did get recommended her playing Super Mario. I might watch that VOD. The big thing, because I know like in a Discord I was in, someone was just linking a bunch of VTuber stuff, and I wasn't really into it. I watched some of it and it was very funny. Just like uh particularly I remember Miko and Coco talking in English, and like Coco is like pretty fluent and then Miko absolutely isn't, and just how hilariously bad her pronunciation was. But then like what really really got me into VTubers was excuse me. Ugh. I decided to look into Korone and noticed that she did a Klonoa stream. And Klonoa is hyper nostalgic for me. It's like one of the two games that my mom was really good at. And just a game I played over and over and over again because I liked it so much. And like it, like Klonoa legitimately might be the only game I feel like I could speedrun if I practice enough. And it's like just watching her play that, it was a full ass 9 hour VOD, and just playing through it's like being bad at the game, but in a way that's not like frustrating. It's like, oh, obviously she's new to the game and she's learning the mechanics of the game better, and so it's cool to watch that. And then getting really emotional about the story, and it's just like that's what really sold VTubers for me. Despite the fact that I don't really watch much Corona anymore, but just like anyone who plays like these really close to home games for me is someone I really like. It's Bar White, like I love Pomu so much, and her getting really into Metal Gear Solid. The popular 90s artists realized their comics were selling because of their art, not the stories, so they walked out and formed their own company, Image. Oh, okay, I understand. These days you might know Image for Walking Dead. So I never realized Walking Dead was a comic, but I know Walking Dead because it's an extremely popular TV show, which I also haven't watched. There's a lot of Western shows I really need to get into too, because I what were Western shows I really got into? I did watch most of Breaking Bad. I never watched the last season of Breaking Bad because I was like, at some point, I stopped enjoying it. And in a way where it was kind of the point, because it was like, it's Breaking Bad is an excellent show. It felt really bad that the characters were deteriorating instead of becoming better characters, but that was the point of the show, is that like, oh, he's a drug dealer, he's becoming a drug magnate, like he's becoming heartless, all that other stuff. And so it's like obviously like the life Walter White started to lead was not going to make him a better person, it was going to make him a worse person. And so that was the point of the show, except that like it's hard for me to enjoy a show like that. And so it's like I just couldn't keep up with it after the second to last season. I just couldn't bear to watch these characters I like slowly deteriorate more and more. And so like I dropped The Walking Dead, though I dropped Breaking Bad because I didn't like that. I watched a lot of Turn, which I actually quite liked. It was this weird show about like American spies. So what it was like during the Revolutionary War, like Britain is kicking America's ass, the budding America that's trying to become an independent state, but still is technically a British colony. And so like it was about how like this young man who's like suffering from the British imperialism, wanting to be free, like becomes a spy for George Washington and like the Revolutionary War. So I watched one season of that. I really liked that show. I never got past the first season, and apparently it does get kind of shitty later on. And besides that, I can't watch it anymore because like it's not on Netflix anymore. Um, and then I watched like 2 seasons of Sniper, which was based on the Mark Wahlberg movie, but leaned much more heavily into the conspiracy rather than the shooting elements, because the original movie was more of an action movie with a very interesting like conspiracy element, whereas the shooter TV show was like a 12 episode retelling of the movie but focused more on the conspiracy rather than the action. And that show was really good. And then the second season, so the first season was basically the same plot as the movie but much more emphasis on the story, which was really awesome. And then season 2 was like, okay, it was his time in the military, and his buddy got shot by a sniper, and like he never found that sniper, and so he was trying to he's that sniper was finally coming for him in his normal life, and so he had to hunt down that sniper and kill him before he killed his family and then him. And then so it was this really cool like mental battle back and forth. So Shooter was a really good western show. If that had more than two seasons, I never finished that. um I know my dad was really into Sopranos. I kind of wanted to just try that. I know like Walking Dead has been going on for a really long time, so I want to try that at some point. I know everyone was into Game of Thrones. I never watched it. There's a lot of Western shows I'm sure I would love that I just never tried before. Walking Dead started out as a comic, then became a show, game, etc. Same creator also made Invincible, which has a Netflix cartoon. Is Invincible the one where it has that meme where it's like, look what they have to do to replicate even half our power? I've not watched the second of Invincible, but I might have seen some memes. Mostly because I don't really watch cartoons, even adult ones. Or just like Western shows in general. Yeah, that's Invincible. Okay. Okay. A former friend of mine did try to get me into some of the like animated Batman movies, and those were really cool. Like the animated Suicide Squad and the animated Flashpoint, was it? I did watch the Flashpoint movie. I did like it. And like it made me realize in general that like I would probably enjoy comic book movies, animated comic book movies, if someone showed them to me, but I would never seek them out on my own. The Boys was a live action, right? That's another like superhero type story, was it? The Boys. I remember that being another like gritty western style like TV show that people were really into. Again, like I it's twofold for me. One, like it's hard for me to get into it unless there's like, let's be honest, anime babes in it. I just like really like the anime aesthetic. And then two, like there aren't good like Yarhar sites for it. Like I don't actually have subscriptions to like anime websites, but like there's plenty of ways to continue watching anime even if you aren't subscribed. And it actually three is because like even if I did want to watch him legitimately, like you go to a legitimate anime site and they probably have the anime forever. With Netflix, they continue rotating things over and over again to the point that it's like, well, at some point you won't be able to watch something anymore. And so if I'm late to the party, then I won't be able to actually watch it. And so I'm stuck anyways. Yeah, I'm not super into the whole the boys thing because the creator actively hates superheroes. That was part of the point of the boys, wasn't it? It's like, okay, it's sort of like a weird gritty reality of like if a superhero actually existed, they would be kind of a narcissistic knob, but they would be kind of like an untouchable type of human being in terms of like, well, they would have to like close themselves off from real people and like maybe lives a little selfishly for their own safety, let alone just the fact that they would be probably rich and powerful. That was kind of the premise of The Boys, wasn't it? Like the idea, if these superheroes really existed, they wouldn't necessarily be particularly nice human beings. That they would do their job helping people as superheroes, but then like keep to themselves afterwards. Or like I assume from like one of the memes, because there's like this certain meme of like a character where like everyone's cheering for him and he has like a very awkward expression. I have no idea the context of that scene, but I assume what it means is like he has done something actively fucked up, but everyone's cheering for him because he's technically a superhero. And so he's still a celebrity in people's eyes, no matter how fucked up he actually is. I really shouldn't have another class, but I kind of want one. There, I want to watch next. I did want to restart Shokugeki no Soma. I never finished it. I think I finished the first season, but I never got much past that. The next, what other anime that I really want to get into, including rewatches? I remember being really into Mayo Chiki, so I might have to rewatch that. Um, Oh yeah, I was watching a lot of Kobayashi the Dragon Maid because I never finished the second season, but I really wanted to get into the second season of that. Like I got most of the way there, but then like the anime side I was watching might have been taken down. I haven't been able to connect to it for a while, so maybe. Senko-san, that's a really comfy show, so I really like it. There's all sorts. Holy shit, that was loud. My bad. There's a whole lot of stuff that I really want to watch, but it's hard to like really build up a queue. I gotta make some food. Give me like 5 minutes. I was probably gonna end because I didn't really have anything else to say really, but mostly just talking to myself, enjoying your company, enjoying just talking about this sort of stuff. I'm like running dry on topics right now, so maybe it's time to call it, especially because like I've drunk like a whole bottle of wine at this point. I probably should like take it easy now. I have a complicated relationship with superheroes. I learned to read through comics. I appreciate the ideals, but they also had a 50-year stranglehold on the US comic industry. I can see that. I can see that because there's a huge problem I have with like modern superhero stuff is that they keep rehashing like the same old villains, the Batmans, the Supermans of the world. Like a huge reason why manga is so popular, and people have shown this. Like they would go to like a bookstore, and like there's rows upon rows upon rows of mangas. There's a whole dedicated section to manga, whereas like comics is like one stand with like one stand, and then like 90% of it is original works. 90% of it is original works. Like Walking Dead or like other like unique heroes. And then at this point, like Marvel and DC are kind of like pushed to the wayside because people are tired of seeing even more Spider-Man, even more or Batman, even more Superman. Like, how much can you keep rehashing the same story over and over again? And so I can sort of see that. I wonder, much like the anime thing, I wonder if there's like a weird sort of business sense of like, well, it's like don't fix what's not broken, but then like it clearly is broken, so it's like they keep trying, but it's not working anymore. To bring it in a weird gaming direction, it's sort of like how Splatoon came to be. Splatoon came to be because like they were planning to make a Mario game because Nintendo knows like if you just slap Mario's name on it, it will sell. But then like they didn't really feel like they wanted to do that. And then so like they wanted to make it a unique world for it because it's like, okay, like they don't want to have to rely on the Mario brand to make this sell because they felt like they had a good concept in mind. So they decided to make it a unique world with like this the Squid Kids and whatnot. And then so they made Splatoon, which was like this unique world with unique characters and not a Mario game. And then that turned out to be a hit. And like that's like part of the reason is because it's so unique, because it's this whole new world instead of just being yet another Mario game that helped it sell. In addition, obviously, to it being good, because that's the most important thing is that it's a good game. But like, there is this sense that like people want to be able to see more uniqueness of it. As you say, yeah, where do you start with manga? The first volume. Where do you start with comics? Yeah, because like what? Like there have been Batman comics since like the 1930s. At this point, that's almost we're getting close to 100 years of that at this point. Like what else more is there to say? How many times can we rehash the fact that Batman lost his parents at an early age and became what he is? There's actually there was a alternate world of Batman where Batman was actually so what happened instead was instead of the parents dying, Bruce Wayne died. And so Batman in that universe was Bruce Wayne's father. I have no idea what his parents' names are. Batman became Bruce Wayne's father, and Joker was as Bruce Wayne's mother. And because in that timeline, um, so Bruce Wayne dies instead of the parents. So it's like the opposite. And so like Batman was the father, Joker was the mother, and that was an interesting fight. I think this was during the Flashpoint thing where like the Flash ended up in a different timeline. And so it's like it was a very complicated like struggle between Batman and Joker because they were husband and wife, but like Joker went crazy because her son died and she just like started doing crimes, became this criminal empress and like fucked up Gotham City because she went crazy. And then in this universe, instead of Batman being this benign person, like Batman has like a casino, Batman has like all this stuff. I think everyone knows that Batman's true identity, and it's because like the father was much less shy about his business empire than Bruce was, and then so like it's much more obvious that he's using the Batman moniker to fight crime and not hide the fact that he's being funded by his normal world activities. And then like it becomes a really conflicted struggle because it's like, okay, he's kind of like a greedy capitalist anyways, and then like the Joker, he has trouble taking down because it's his literal wife. And like, why not do a full universe based on that timeline, given that we've already done the Bruce Wayne timeline like 50 different times? you know? Like we've already done the Bruce Wayne Batman like a million different ways because of the fact that like, okay, his parents died, he was scared of bats, so he became Batman. And to like conquer his own fear and implant that fear into the criminals. And then like Joker was a relatively unrelated part of that. Like why not mix it up and do that timeline of Batman instead of the same thing over and over. And even then that would get old eventually if we do that timeline where it's Bruce Wayne that died. So it's tough. It's tough. Whereas, like, meanwhile, yeah, and people will joke, "Oh, yeah, there's like a million different isekais," but at least they're all trying to be its own thing, even if maybe they're taking tropes over and over again. Like, they're trying to be original, even if they can't be original. They're trying, and it's like that's all we really ask for, and that's why there's like tons of different manga you can go rent out at a bookstore, tons of different manga you can look up in like a in a pirate website, whereas like it's more of the same of Batman, it's more of the same of Teen Titans, it's more of the same of Superman, etc. Admittedly, I don't really read that much manga. Or like the few manga I read. So there's Hayate no Gotoku. I definitely read that for a while until I caught up around like two, 300 to 500 chapters in. This is why I can't watch manga, by the way. I can't read manga, by the way. And why I tend never to watch it anime in season. It's so for anime in season, it's so hard for me, especially if I like it, particularly like it, to like wait a full ass week for it, only for like 20 minutes of enjoyment. Like I'd watch it, I'd love it, I want to discuss it, but then like there's only 20 minutes of it, and then you have to wait a whole week for the next one. Manga's even worse because you have to wait a full week to get like 5 minutes. 5 minutes of enjoyment reading the next episode. And so, like, what would happen with manga in particular? Anime, I could keep up with if I really, really, really love it. But then with manga, it's like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna not read it for like a few weeks, and then catch up with it all at once. Like binge it for like a few weeks, binge it all in one session in like a 2 hour session or something. And then it's like 3 months pass. And then I just literally forgot about the manga because of the fact that like I intentionally avoided it for a while because I don't want to get too hyped for it. And then it ends up being like, oh, wait, the manga is. I'm caught up with the manga again. Time to wait hella long. So that's why I can never keep up with manga in particular. But like if the manga is already finished or the manga is like really long running, then at the very least I know I could like read it as much as I want and then I'll be done. And then there's the issue of just like when a manga inevitably finally ends, because it's like, and I don't blame the mangaka for this. Like, it's important to stretch it out as long as they can, because like as long as the manga's still running, you make money. But it's like it's it's like twofold. Either one, it eventually ends, and like you just, it's hard to like feel good about it ending, both from a fan perspective of like, well, my favorite manga just ended, or two, for the mangaka, like, well, I can't continue to milk this. Or you continue milking it, it's very obviously you're milking it, and so like fans are still gonna enjoy it, but it's like, man, but it just feels like we can conclude it at some point. But then like also, oh, like they're hesitant to let it go. And then so when the mangaka does eventually end it after having milking it, it's like there's no way to satisfactorily make it end. Because I remember the didn't My Hero Academia recently end? And like My Hero Academia apparently ended on such a dissatisfying note that it just feels like a buzzkill. Like they just wasted like legit months to a few years of development just based on the fact that it just ended so shittily. And it's like, that's another reason I struggle to like read manga at, let alone finish it, is because uh, with a, like, I'm not sure I can put up with that dissatisfaction. Like anime has some dissatisfying endings, and I genuinely have trouble watching the last anime episode of any anime, just because I know like it's gonna be sad for me to let it go finally. But it's also like, I can't imagine sticking to a manga for literally years, literally like so many years, and then it ends on a dissatisfactory note, and it just feels bad all those years you spent committed to that manga. Whereas like with an anime, maybe you finish it even within just a month, maybe, or if you watched it particularly slowly, maybe it takes you a few months to get to it. That was me with Clannad, and Clannad ended on a good note, so it's like it was actually very satisfying. But it's like, I if an anime ends on a particularly not so great note, it's fine because you didn't dedicate like a significant portion of your life to it. Yeah, that was Flashpoint. Are you talking about the whole Batman thing, the alternate timeline for Batman, where it's Bruce Wayne that died? Yeah, My Hero's ending killed all of its hype. Yeah, it was such a meme about how bad My Hero's ending was that like it was already popular between like NTR artists, because for specific like romantic reasons, and then like the ending was so dissatisfactory, so like the main character got c-worded, that it was like 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 NTR artists like went the full mile with that ending, just because it was like it just really felt like they really fucked, they really wasted everyone's time basically. It just felt like they wasted every fan's time with that show. And then so that's a huge reason why I just like really find it hard to really commit myself to a manga. Not just for the reasons I talked about, in terms of like, oh man, it's hard for me to keep up with it when it's only like 5 minutes of enjoyment and then like a full week of waiting. But then also because like you stretch it out, 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 just because it's like, one, it makes the artist money. Two, because it's hard to let go. And then so it's like you're stretching it out. You know it should have ended a while ago, but you're stretching it out because you don't want to let it die. Because people are such fans of it, because it makes you money, etc. Whatever it is, from selfish to benign. And like when it finally does end, it's so hard to make it satisfying. Like I feel like there's a lot of long running good manga series that end on such a dissatisfying note that it's just like I don't think I could handle that kind of disappointment. The last anime I tried to watch got delayed because of COVID, and I never went back to it despite being completed years ago. I'm not sure I had anything that was delayed because of COVID, mostly because I got into VTubers at that point, so it wouldn't have mattered. Um, I do have a problem of I can't watch the last episode of an anime, even especially one that I particularly like, just because I don't want to say goodbye to the characters. I don't think I've ever had one that was delayed just because, as I said, like with manga, I don't like watching anime in season unless I particularly like it. Hmm. What did I watch in season? There's so few and far between that I really can't think of one. I did think of one, but it's like kind of shameful to admit it. Ishizoku reviewers. But that's because every episode was basically a hentai episode, not really an anime. Oh my god, what a good show that was. Speaking again about like theme songs, what a great theme song that show had, and it was just as perverted as the anime itself. The song itself is about like can't hold back, wanna do it, like without using the words, without actually saying it, about how much they just want to fuck. What's the anime you were thinking of? Let me know. I'm gonna use restroom real fast. I'll be back in like 2 minutes tops. The hero is overpowered but overcautious. They had some good faces. I think you mentioned that before. What is like the synopsis of that? And it's okay if you don't really need to get that deep into it. I'm just curious about that. I distinctly remember that one just because it had such a like bizarre title, but I kind of want to know more about it. I know I know it's the well, I know it's the kind of title that is kind of self-explanatory, but I want to hear it anyways. Still have some Kalamoko that the ice melted, so I guess I'll finish that. I'm not gonna pour myself another sangria because I know I'm gonna get really fucked up. I'm already super wine drunk right now. It is really funny that there are like different kinds of drunks that you get. Like, I ultimately it's just alcohol. It's just alcohol fucking with your senses. But it is funny how different it all feels. Like when you get whiskey drunk, that's so much different from vodka drunk. That's so different from wine drunk, as I am now. So different from rum drunk. Rum drunk really fucks me up. Like something about rum. Maybe it's the fact that like rum is literally distilled from sugar, but like rum really like is a painful hangover. Where it's like I've gotten whiskey drunk and then like I wake up the next day completely fine. Like I legitimately no hangover symptoms. But then I get like rum drunk and I'm fucked up for the next day. Actually, I got to check into Captivate stream for the first time in a while, and he kept recommending his favorite anime. I would assume at least his favorite anime is Mushoku Tensei, and like he's really a connoisseur of ecchi anime, considering he does a lot of ecchi art, especially. But like he has the same mentality I have. It seems it's like he's really into ecchi anime because ecchi anime will always surprise you about how good it is. Because it's like like when people talk about ecchi anime, where like sexualized content is a main feature of the anime. Like people assume it's like, oh, it's pure fan service. It's pure like, oh, it's so shallow. It's just gonna focus on the etchy elements to like bait its kumers and all that kind of stuff. But it's like when an etchy anime is like at all like reasonably telling a decent story, it suddenly becomes like way more just because like people's expectations are very low, let alone if it's like actively quite good. Like if it's actively quite good, then it's crazy because it's like you take away all the etchy and suddenly it's just a good show, and then you add back in that it does have plenty of fan service that makes it like, you know, fun to watch in like a perverted sense. And it's like, yeah, that's great. But then it's like he really loves Mishoku Tensei, and the way he describes it, like I'm pretty sure like it is a pretty deep and wonderful show in addition to being quite etchy. And so like I really should give that show a chance at some point. Oh, I know a guy who knows someone who worked on that. Would you mind explaining more? And by that, are you talking about Mushoku Sensei or something, or the hero is overpowered but cautious? Uh, it got quite watered down because most of the ice melted, but that actually kind of helps it because it kind of like neuters the diet cokedness and it neuters some of the cheap whininess. So it's actually quite nice. I'll be right back again. Let me see if there's some chips to like maybe balance this shit out. We don't have chips, but I do have a banana. Come on. Okay, there we go. Objectively, don't pull it from this end. Pull it from the back end. Much better rip. Look at that. There's no like funny thing at the top that you have to rip off. An artist I know DMs with an animator who worked on Mushoku Tensei. Oh, that's rad. That's hella rad. That sort of reminds me of like I was chatting with someone and they didn't realize they don't believe me that I actually know the artist Foxy Raine. If you've ever seen them on Twitch, they stream on Twitch. They make some really good like etchy art, and they also, um, yeah. I mean, I knew them from like way back in their Picardo days, and I kind of feel bad that I didn't keep up with them after they moved to Twitch because I just really, really don't like Twitch. And like all their art gets like 10K likes a post on Twitter, so it's like it truly is crazy how small the world can be. There's like a little wine part, but that's fine. I'll eat it. That's awesome, though. That's awesome. It really is a small world. Like, what's that rule? Like 6 degrees of separation. Like you're only ever 6 degrees of separation from anyone else. I'm like 2 degrees separation from fruit from V Shoujo, and it's like it's crazy to think that like I can be that far away as like a nobody one view VTuber to like a legitimate like one of the biggest VTubers out there. I hope the chewing sounds don't bother you. I'm sorry. At one point, the artist I know was sending the anime references for Torpedo Days. It's a specific booba shame. I'm surprised YouTube lets you say that. I'll be honest. But yeah, I know what you're talking about. I've definitely seen that before, and heard it described that way before. Yeah, I definitely need to give Mushoku Tensei a chance. I should probably think of a second relatively safer work anime because I do a lot of my anime watching in the gym, and it is a little bit awkward if there's like ecchi elements to a show, and so it's like I need to like hide that in some way, or just like hope no one's looking my direction as I watch that. So I definitely need to find more of that. But also just like I really need to get caught up on anime in general. And I know there's a lot of good ones that people are watching. I am watching a few mainstream ones right now. I'm watching various things I really wanted to watch that might not have been a mainstream, etc. So there's so much I'd really want to get caught up on, especially because it's like I've fallen back on VTuber culture in general just because it's like like frankly I'm kind of disillusioned by like Western VTuber culture. But then too, it's like it doesn't really matter if you are super well versed in VTuber culture just because it's become so diverse by now that it's like people can do their own thing and it's still like VTuber culture and it's pretty cool and whatnot. And so I don't feel like I need to focus that much right now, but definitely I've been really wanting to get caught back up on anime because like VTuber culture is based on anime and it's like I really, really, really want to be able to be well versed in anime again because it really like I wouldn't be a VTuber fan if I wasn't an anime fan, and I don't think the same works the other way around. And so it's like I really want to like really get back to my roots and really become a true anime fan again. And so I really want to get back into like really diving deep into anime culture before I feel like I can be a proper VTuber again. Yeah, I've known Raine for a while too. When I was looking at her follows recently, I was caught off guard. I know the artist between Fun Sexy Dragon Ball was also one of her first commissions. Oh, I actually don't know anything about that, but that's really cool. I just remember Freyne because I followed Puyo-cha for such a long time. Honestly, like it feels selfish. Maybe I'll shoot my shot anyways, but like I kind of want to see if Puyo-cha would be willing to draw me or at the very least my new model which is coming soon. And just like in general like if like way down the road given that I'm still one view, like if at some point I can like it would be really cool if I if somehow I could get him to draw like a full on VTuber model. That might be sick to have like a Puyo-cha model. That might be really cool. Or like Heijun or Indeed Raine. Like yeah, like I remember Raine back when they were like a relatively nobody artist on Picardo who managed to like hook up with Puyo-cha a little bit and then like chat with Puyo-cha for a bit before doing her own thing and going onto Twitch. And then really breaking it big to this point that like she's the main artist for Gamer Subs. But yeah, it's crazy. Like I also knew like Neon B who drew Vay's model. Legitimately, I drank with that kid. It literally kid. By the way, like it. I can. I'm not sure the laws in his country, and I won't say too much about it. But it's like it might have been sketchy what would have happened with Neon and if people actually knew about it. But like I remember chatting with him, getting commissions from him like way back in like 6 years ago at least. And like chatting with him, saying a bunch of stuff, seeing his dreams and aspirations, and now he gets to draw Vebe. He gets to draw like his web comic that he really wanted to work on. He never really wanted to do NSFW, but he knew he paid the bills. So it's like he did NSFW commissions for a while, but now he's like a pretty big time
Twitch artist now, and it's really good for him. It's awesome. I didn't realize Rainy was a gamer subs artist. I'm in Rainy's Patreon Discord, and yeah, they do. She does a lot of the gamer subs art, and it's really good stuff. I'm surprised they don't do more like other merch like Dakimakura or like I guess they do tapestries, but like any art can be a tapestry, but like Dakimakura art or like other stuff, considering they lean lewd anyways. Kind of surprised at that. I know they've done a few like VTuber models, but I don't think they do it anymore because like VTuber models are quite hard. In fact, I remember Heijun. Heijun is another H artist I really love. And like they did exactly one an, live 2D art. It wasn't even for a VTuber. It was just like turning one of their art pieces into live 2D and cutting it, cutting the hair, cutting the face, cutting everything to make sure it was a proper live 2D. And they hated it so much they were like, I'm never doing this again. But it was a cool experience. Rainy had a VTuber pipeline for a while. Yeah. I remember seeing that, and I know for a fact that like they actually made one for some VTubers. I know bazillion artists who designed two VTubers. One was another artist who never used it, and the other one went ghost. Yeah, that's an unfortunate thing. I remember there was a trend on Twitter talking about all the VTubers who never really made it. There's it's this model. This which way? There we go. This model is from an artist named Ariem Osamu. You should follow her. She does amazing work. She made so many VTubers. And like she really does do great work. I'm very sad that Arium is not going to be my model mama from once I get my next model, because she really does great work. Like no Natsukazari, the one you're seeing on screen right now, is genuinely just such a great model. And I love this. It's like it was designed perfectly to my specifications. Like it's just such amazing work that Eddie Mama was able to do. And so like so many of us are like relatively small indies, and like some of us managed to be relatively big. Eddie M herself is in an agency of her own, and like I'm so proud of this model. I'm so proud that like from a relatively vague description that Eddie M made such a good model for me. And so I will eternally be grateful for her. Like if if and when I ever make it big, I am gonna refer back to her just for helping me start out as a VTuber and making this incredible unique model for me. And like yeah, it's crazy. Like there's so many of us that are like, even if they're only like 3 viewers on their stream, 5 viewers on their stream, or like some of us are finding a good success with like 30 plus viewers, 100 plus viewers. Like there's a bunch of people in the Eddie fam, as they call it. They have a little Discord that sadly I haven't been able to participate in a while. I used to, but yeah, the Eddie fam is so good, and very so much thanks to Eddie Mama for making this model for me, and I really couldn't appreciate them more, especially because like so many of them do stream, so many of them do have our gang going with it, doing in great work, and Like there was a meme going around of like various model artists talking about like, oh yeah, I have like like six children and four of them don't even stream, or like one of them like streams once a month on average, but the other one is pretty successful. And it's like, it is a little bit sad. It really is a little bit sad that's like not that like people commission these VTuber models, which are quite expensive. Let's be honest about it. Let's be real about it. It's like they are quite expensive, and so it's like it is going a little bit to waste all that hard work that they don't see much streaming space. But it's like I'm very happy for every Eddie Mama child, like myself, like so many others, like keeping at it, whether they're small or like relatively big. Like I say, like, oh yeah, they have 30 plus viewers. That's huge. That is massive compared to the average streamer. People forget that the average streamer is a one view, and not just a one view in terms of single digits, one view as in literally one viewer. And so it's like it's so nice to be part of that family that that's actively, trying. And it's it is kind of sad to see like other artists like do these VTuber models and not really get to see their children go through it. Oh, congrats on 50 subs, by the way. Yeah, it took a lot longer than 50 followers on Twitch, but I know like subscribers on YouTube are worth more than followers on Twitch. That's kind of another reason I want to focus on YouTube. But yeah, I'm waiting for the fact. I'm waiting for when I could apply to affiliate on Twitch via YouTube, but also YouTube affiliate. I forget what it's called. It's not YouTube partner. It might be YouTube partner, but it's like when you can start monetizing, you need 500 subs, I believe, and like several hundred watch hours, which just means like actually have a community of watchers and or stream watchers, which I'm still working on. But it's like I'm very it's been incredibly slow progress, and I know it's my fault because I've just been so lazy about actually editing my streams into videos. But just like I am proud of the progress I have been able to make up until this point, just because it's like there are so many people who don't even try. I think Devin Nash talked about this, and like he wouldn't consider me a real channel yet, just because it's like I haven't done any of that. But there, he did list a factoid about like you only need to upload like what was it, like 15 videos. If you upload 15 videos, you're already like a top 99% YouTuber. You might not get any views, but you are already a top 99% YouTuber just based on the fact that you tried. And like 99% of YouTube accounts don't even fucking try, you know? And so that's part of why I want to try to keep up with the consistency, even if like I'm bashing my head into a brick wall this whole time. Like, just the fact that I try, I know I'm doing more than the vast majority of people. And so it's like, I will keep trying, and hopefully I can find my own break, because like I literally can't imagine a future. I can't imagine a future that isn't me streaming. So thank you so much to let me know that I have 50 subscribers. I saw it too. I saw that I had 50 subscribers, and I was like unreasonably very happy about that. Despite the fact that I know it's nothing compared to like the other huge street YouTubers out there, let alone alone like other streamers, let alone other VTubers. Just I know that it's nothing, but I feel so proud of what I managed to accomplish so far with that. I feel so corny saying all that. Oh man. Especially because, like, oh man, I got so excited too that my cosplay finally shipped. At least one part of it, the wig. And so, like, I'm still debating. Like, I really, really hate the idea of like mixing IRL with your VTuber account. But like, I wonder if I should just keep it's together, like the cosplay ventures I want to try. But like, I'm proud of myself for at least trying because I know like my parents tell me to just like that this is more of a fever dream. I know just from based on the facts that it's like so few people actually do make it, but it's like also like it's fun being able to do this, to be able to talk to people, to be able to experience this, to be able to share my expertise in a practical way, mixing these drinks live for you guys. Like, oh yeah, you put the wine and the Coca-Cola, or like you slice up a bunch of fruits and just pour it into the red wine, and it's just like I live for this. I really do. And even if it doesn't reward me, I want to do it. But I want to get to the point where it does reward me. You know what I mean? It's selfish. It really is selfish, but it's the only thing I think I can do that I feel is worth it, and I appreciate it. It's an uphill battle, but you're getting yourself out there. Yeah, 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 yeah. I feel bad that I always bring it to this point because it just feels selfish. It feels self centered, but I genuinely just like streaming is really fun for me. It's such a good outlet. Like even let's say I just never make it, like just the fact that I can go online and just like, like spill my guts about my joy of mixology, the joy of just like mixing drinks together and like showing even just one other person what it's like and just like enjoying it, and then just like as I'm drunk being able to ramble about like anime or VTuber culture or like anything I like. And the fact that like I'm blessed enough to be able to afford a model like one Eddie Mama made me, or one that's gonna be coming hopefully soon, and just like just be able to share it with anyone, even if it's just one viewer, even if it's just 3 viewers, 10 viewers, etc., which is relatively massively small compared to like the Shy Lilies of the world, the Shondos of the world, the Hololives, the Nijisanjis, the V Shoujos of the world. You can share it with hundreds of thousands of people. It's just like for every ways the internet is wrong, the internet is also beautiful for being able to let anyone share their story like this. And like it's it's really hard for me to get a job as a bartender because I don't think I have the social skills necessary to actually like be able to mix drinks and do it, especially because like in a restaurant environment it's all about the business, and like I might not be able to make such unique cocktails the way I can do it on stream. And so like even if my only customer is you, Chibudi, if my only customer is the limited amount of viewers I can get, it's it's really nice that I have full freedom on a stream to be able to make just any cocktail I fancy and to be able to teach you about why I'm so proud of this cocktail, whether it's an established cocktail like an old fashioned, like a Kalimoko, like a sangria, to like a unique cocktail that you might see on Twitter. It's x.com/kazari no natsu, where like I make like a mint julep, or like a chili memory, which is a custom concoction I made for mint fantome, or like the Yuna martini I made for Yuna, or whatever. Like, the idea that I have that kind of freedom on a streaming site, on a social media site, the fact that I can make all this stuff and share it, even if so few people just see it, is a blessing. And so it's why it's the only future I can see for myself, because it's like, as much as I could apply for like a bartending job, like I feel like doing this online, doing this as a VTuber, as a streamer, as a content creator, like, it's is the unfiltered manifestation of the knowledge I want to share with people. And so it really does make me proud to be able to do this. I get massive stage fright every time. Literally every Monday night when I try to get the stream started, I try to make an excuse for why I shouldn't stream that day. It's like, oh, I'm not really feeling it. I have a little bit of a headache. I'm not sure if anyone will come, etc. But it's like, once I get into the flow of things, it really does feel nice that like literally anyone would listen, and it makes me feel good. And so like, it's part of why like I really, the more I think about it, the more maybe I should hire an editor, because it's like I've been procrastinating so long on actually editing my VODs in order to like actually make videos about them, because it's just so hard to it's it's the sort of thing where it's hard to really make a video knowing that my streams might not be the interesting in the first place, let alone that like I have so little experience that I might not be able to make a good video out of it, which I know is what's gonna help my algorithm, help it get pushed, and help me get more attention. But it's just like, I stream because I want to share this knowledge, and so like that's why I look for the clout. Like, Reen Penrose put it's a really great. And it's like she said her favorite complaint that she gets on her videos is like, you only do this for the views. And it's like, why do you think I uploaded it? Right? And then she turned it back on the commenter and was like, I bet you only made this comment for the views, ain't you? And it's like, yeah, of course. It doesn't necessarily have to be a selfish thing to fish for views. VTubing and streaming in general is a medium meant to be shared. Even if you never plan to be popular, even if you never plan to be a huge streamer, content creator, VTuber, streamer, etc., the reason you post it on the internet is that you hope someone out there listens to you, and you hope that someone out there like shares the same mindset as you and enjoys is the same hobby as you. So it's like, yes, you're always doing it for the views, and that doesn't necessarily need to be a selfish thing. And so like that's why like I really, it's the conflict I have in my mind of like I know I need to edit these VODs into more consumable YouTube videos, but I'm also like incredibly lazy because I wish the streaming alone was enough to spread my message. But it's like as much as I want to be popular, because I'm gonna be frank about it, like I do wish I could make money streaming. Like also just the idea that I can get my own ideas out there. The fact that you make lazy cocktails like the sangria I keep pouring for myself. Won't lie, I really wanted more sangria. Um the fact that you can make lazy cocktails, the fact that the old fashioned is such a nice cocktail, the all the other streams that I'm gonna do from now on, like if it only resonates with 5 people, I'm fine with that. If it also blows up and gets like 100,000 views, 1 million views, 10 million views, obviously I would be elated for that because YouTube would actually pay me for that. But it's also like it is a message I want to send regardless if I make money off of it, but also I'm trying to do this for the money if that makes any sense, you know what I mean? You did say not a lot of people are covering this ground, right? Like there are bartender streamers who make alcohol, bar and VTubers, and bartending VTubers who don't make drinks. Yeah. So, um, there are bartending streamers who aren't VTubers. So there's lots of bartending content on YouTube. The vast majority of them are not VTubers. There is Steve Sakai, who is VTuber adjacent, who is a big fan of Hollow Stars, who actually had a lot of viral videos in the VTuber space because he made like face connect to cocktails. He made Hollow Stars cocktails, and he makes Honkai Star Rail cocktails, and like I watch his content. I like him. He's a cool dude. He's very clear. The thing was, he was a YouTuber long before he started making cocktails, and he understands the craft of YouTubing. He's trying to make it big himself. He hasn't really broken out yet, but he's a good YouTuber, and he started making cocktails because he found the passion for it, and he's doing that. But it's very clear he's still somewhat of an amateur, right? I mean, I am too, but it's like he's more interested in making themed cocktails than he is like the art of mixology as a whole. And I'm sure I 100% know he has an appreciation for the art of mixology as a whole based on the fact that like I watched his Hololive Advent cocktail video, and he started learning about a lot of classic cocktails in order to make authentic cocktails for the Advent girls. There's Zao Music YT, who is both a Utaite, which is to say a V-scener before V-sceners were a thing, and then a bartender. He is a very classically trained bartender. He actually taught me a lot myself. Zao Music YT, excellent bartender. In fact, he stopped streaming because he got a job as a bartender, and so he's like genuinely deep into the craft, and I love that about him. I would say like I hate the concept of multiple Oshis, but like if I did have a second Oshi, because my first Oshi ever was Pomu Rainpuff, but she graduated. And then my actual Oshi right now is Petra Gurin of Niji Sanji Obsidia. If I could choose a second Oshi, which I genuinely don't feel right doing, but like I could say Petra is my Kami Oshi, and then my second Oshi would be Zao Music YT, because he's a legitimate bartender. And he's just such a cool dude he's the same as me. He like has a very invested interest in mixology, and then actually got a job as a bartender in addition to his like other life. And then like he's relatively small. He's also like a one view, two view type of VTuber. But then like the fact that he's been doing this like 3 years longer than me. And then also, so he has like a lot more formal knowledge about cocktails. And then also actually got a job bartending at a speakeasy, which is why he doesn't stream that often anymore. Like, if I could choose a second Oshi, Zao Music YT would be my second Oshi behind Petra Gruen. Fuck, I spilled all over myself. um, but yeah, like between Steve Sakai and Zao Music YT, I don't think there's a lot of people who are like classically trained on like legitimate bartending. There's plenty of VTubers who know a little bit about bartending, who like will make some simple cocktails, who might do some bar streams, who like have a passing interest in bartending, but like don't make it their main content. I feel like nowadays I am the only other VTuber slash VTuber adjacent VTuber who does actual bartending. Steve Sakai is leaning hard into mixology, so I know he's my competition right now. Zao stopped streaming for the most part, as far as I understand. But like he is basically like I treat him as my sensei. And so like in a way he's my competition, in a way he's my competition, in another way he's my sensei. And so like I want to follow in his footsteps. And so yeah, I do feel like I'm relatively unique in the fact that like I am a full-time bartending VTuber. But I need to do a better job at marketing myself, and the only way I know is a surefire way to market myself better is to actually make videos out of these VODs I've been doing where I teach you guys stuff. It's just that editing is so hard, man. Editing is so hard. Like, I don't feel like I'm as funny as a lot of VTubers. I don't think I don't have a particularly nice voice like a lot of corpo VTubers. I don't have the production quality of just like even Steve Sakai. And like no disrespect to Steve Sakai, he genuinely has years of experience at YouTubing, and so like he knows how to make good camera angles and good shots and has the right humor and all that stuff. And it's just like I know for a fact that like in order to become a good YouTuber, not just a streamer, I need to actually try editing videos. It's just that I'm so intimidated by it, and it's I'm super afraid of the failure that comes with it, because I can't imagine like working so hard on that Valhalla stream, especially because like the family member that I tragically lost building up to that stream is why I'm trying to stick so hard to consistency in streaming. And then if that video flops, I won't know what to do. But then also like everyone's first video flopped. Mr. Beast's first video flopped. Every like content guru out there tells you like, yeah, your first 100 videos are all going to suck, and it's like you just need to keep making them, because experience is the only meaningful teacher. Like you can watch millions of videos about how to make a good video, but until you do it yourself, like you're not gonna make a good video. And it's the sort of thing where it's like, I can't imagine a world where I'm not a big YouTuber. Like, maybe that's super narcissistic, because it's just the fact that, like, I don't know how else to make more out of this life, out about being a big bartending VTuber, a big bartender, like living my best life in terms of like making my hobby the thing that supports me too, but also like knowing that like my getting a quote unquote real job is the best way to make sure I have a living, make sure I can afford groceries every week, make sure I can afford rent every week, etc. And so it's tough because it's like I'm so afraid of that failure, but I know I need to endure that failure in order to eventually become a great YouTuber. And I don't know. I know what I have to do. It's just that I'm scared to do it. You know what I mean? You like if one person, if literally one singular person, and actually that's already happened. It happened on Reddit, actually. If one singular person is inspired by my work, like that really is enough for me. But also like if one singular person is able to be inspired by my work, I know that means that there are more people out there who would be inspired to get into mixology the way I have, to learn about mixology the way I have, to make unique drinks the way I have, and be entertained by content like this, where like I make simple drinks for people, where I make complicated drinks for people, for the dedicated mixologist who wants to be a master at the craft and work their way towards it, like me, because I'm not a master of my craft yet, but I'm trying. And like make that into a hobby that makes money for me, because like to explain the Reddit thing, like I post a lot of my custom cocktails for like Blue Archive, for VTubers, for Nikke, on various subreddits too. And it actually came up that like someone made their own custom cocktail for a Blue Archive character and added me. They legitimately like at Kazari no Natsu inspired me to try making cocktails for individual characters. And it's like I felt so proud of that moment. I felt so proud of that moment. And it proved to me that like what I'm doing like is touching people, is really like inspiring people, and I want to be able to spread that to more people, because like if more people can realize that mixology is an art, if more people can realize that mixology is relatively easy, if more people can like just make feel like they can make cool drinks thanks to me, like it makes me feel good, and I want to spread this message as much as I can. I've been hanging out with more clippers lately, and I have DaVinci Resolve, but I haven't sat down to watch tutorials. I watch a few tutorials for DaVinci Resolve. The issue is just like uploading my own work and then cutting it down is just like intimidating. So it's like I feel like it's hard for me to like really sit down and just slice up my own thoughts. Maybe I should intentionally, because I remember Devin Nash talked about this too in regards to the whole like, oh, you need to make 100 videos before you can really consider yourself a true YouTuber. It's like because like in that same video he talked about you need to be willing to sacrifice quality for quantity, and it's like maybe I should just do it to just get out the way, to like break my human on it, to just like, okay, I made my first video, it sucked, but at least I made it. That's more than like 99% of people are willing to do, and then at that point improve it as I go to actually be able to like go through it. And so like maybe that's just what I have to do. Like be okay with my first video being a half-assed job to make sure that the rest of my to get the ball rolling, as it were, for all my videos. There's an old allegory. Typing out anyways. I really gotta use the bathroom again. I think the seal got broken. There's a If you ever watched Alira's, I think it was first anniversary for Lazulite, where she played Phasmophobia with Finana. She got drunk, went to pee for the first time, and then while she was gone, while she was BRB, she typed in chat at seal broken now. And it's because like the moment you pee for the first time after getting drunk, like you keep wanting to go to the bathroom to pee, and that's sort of how I feel right now. So continue your thought, Chibity. I promise I will read it once I get back, but I really gotta pee again. A pottery teacher. Okay. A pottery teacher had two groups of students. He gave them a month. He told one group to make a perfect jar. He told the others to make as many jars as they could. At the end of the month, the first group had slipshod jars that were made with uncertainty because they didn't know how to be perfect. The other group, over time, had learned how to make a perfect jar through trial and error because they made so many. Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. What was I actually did this when I tried to do some voice acting content. What was the quote? I think it was from like one of those billionaires. It was like legit in Elon Musk. Um, it wasn't Elon though. Who runs Facebook again? It might have been the Facebook guy, or maybe it was a different billionaire. Definitely someone from the PayPal mafia. It's killing me. But like one of Mark Zuckerberg, I think it was Mark Zuckerberg who said, "Finished is better than perfect." And yeah, that relates to your pottery example. Like one made a perfect jar, the others made as many jars as they could. So at the end of the month, the first group had slipshod jars, which were made with uncertainty because they didn't know how to be perfect. The other group, over time, learned how to make a perfect jar through trial and error because they made so many. Yeah, and then so it's like his quote was, "Finished is better than perfect," because it's just like, as long as you put something out there, that's better than putting nothing out there because you were trying to make it perfect. And then also, there is a proverb. Don't don't let don't let perfect don't let perfect stand in the way of, what's the full quote? Don't let perfect stand in the way of good, or something like that. You've heard the narration I've recorded for Clara projects. Those needed at least 6 takes a piece. Yeah, 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 yeah. And so it's like, maybe that's something I need to be reminded of over and over and over again, because it's sort of like, I know I'm not getting anywhere not uploading videos, but then I have this weird feeling that if I upload a bad video, it's gonna leave a bad first impression, and I'm never gonna be a good VTuber. And it's sort of like, well, if I never make a video to begin with because I'm scared that it's not perfect, then like I'm never gonna be a big VTuber. Period. Because like indie VTubers don't grow off of clippers, because like no clipper is gonna clip them while they're small. And so it's like it's their job to make their presence known. And so it's like, yeah, I'm laying perfect be the enemy of good. I'm not realizing that finished is better than perfect. So maybe I should just make even maybe a slightly half-assed video where I like upload like a sliced up VOD of my Valhalla project. And then hopefully that helps me snowball into the rest. Yeah, I don't know. It's still scary, because it's sort of like if I'm in that editing software, I've gotten as far as opening it up too, and it's just like, man, I want to make sure this is good though, and it's like, uh, like I don't know. It's scary, like I would hate to upload a video and it only, well, actually, I would use an exact number. I would hate to upload a video and they only get 76 views, because I bring up the word 76 because the only video I left up on my channel after privating everything is my Aru video, where I made a Aru drink that made where I made a drink for Aru, my favorite Blue Archive character, and that got 76 by now, and it's been up for months. It's gotten 76 views. And honestly, like I'm actually proud that it got 76 views. It's not a failure to me. And so that's helping me realize that I should just upload more videos, because it's like obviously 76 views is nothing compared to like the YouTubers who get millions of views just for uploading anything, or like even like a few thousand views for like a smaller indie that is relatively popular. Like, it's tough, you know? It's really tough. I just don't know. It's hard to fight. It's hard to fight that natural instincts, like, but I know this isn't as good as name X top tier VTuber, top tier YouTuber. But it's like, I know just putting something out there is better than nothing. And so I know I need to try at some point. Especially because I try with all sorts of other things. I don't know. I'm just scared. I really am just scared, because I know, like, the Steve Sakai guy, like, I won't lie. I won't remotely lie. I can tell he's a super amateur at mixology, because, like, he only recently got into it. He's, like, doing a bunch of stuff meant to be like representative of the VTuber, as opposed to like necessarily making great drinks, or like the Hoyoverse character, because he's a big Hoyo fan, instead of necessarily a great drink, which I used to do myself. But like, he had the balls to actually upload it, and he's gotten 100,000 views on his Honkai videos, and even the ones that don't do so well still get a few hundred views, few thousand views. And it's like, I mean, let's be honest, some of it is jealousy. I want some of that, but it's also like, if that's the case, I do feel like I can make something pretty good even with lesser experience in YouTubing, lesser experience in video editing, just based on my expertise. And so maybe you can do something for GFL that's been popping off lately. I did make a I did make a macchiato cocktail, and it was really good. Like, I would definitely put that in my rotation. It's a little bit overly complicated, so it's not something that I would really rotate around in terms of like the cocktails I make, but it's like, it really is a good video. Maybe that can be next stream, because I did want to eventually do a bunch of my Twitter posts. If you go to my Twitter, x.com/Kazadi no Natsu, I've made a bunch of like cocktails for VTubers. I made a bunch of cocktails for like video game characters, but like, they're not they're not they're not in video form, so I could probably make those, and I would love them. They're pretty good. The macchiato cocktail was particularly good. So yeah, maybe, but again, it's the same problem of like, I would need to actually like grow a pair and actually make a video about it, not just stream it. You know what I mean? It all boils down to like, I just know I need to edit videos. I just know I need to edit videos. I know I need to edit videos. I need to take these streams where I'm teaching you about stuff, old fashions, lazy cocktails, Valhalla drinks, etc., and just cut them into videos. I know that's what I need to do. I'm just been, one, lazy, two, scared of failure. So I know that's what I need to do. Ugh. And if you're wondering about why I missed my uh gaming stream last week, I'm not 100% sure I should do gaming streams after all. After like realizing how much battery life I have, I still want to try. I definitely do want to try, but I need to figure out something, even if it's something as expensive as buying another audio setup for my computer, because I had to build it. So I live in a two-story house. Um, I I had to move my entire audio setup downstairs in order to do all this bar content where I like make drinks for you in my home bar because my home bar is downstairs. If I wanted to do gaming content again, I spent a bunch of money. I spent like $100 setting up a way to like connect my phone to my laptop so I can do gaming streams from my bar space. The issue is that that's capped by my battery power, which apparently, while playing video games and streaming, is about 2.5 hours. So I don't think that's enough time to really do a full on Blue Archive event stream. It definitely wasn't enough time for a GFL2 stream. And like in general, like I definitely couldn't do a Nikkei stream on that for very long, for enough to be compelling. And so in order to do gaming streams again, I would have to, I think the realistic option is I would have to be able to duplicate my audio setup upstairs again. And then so like that's going to cost a lot of money that, one, I'm not sure is worth it, and two, even if it was even if I get compelled enough to spend that money, like I'm not sure it really helps me. So it's like it might be a while since we do another gaming stream again. Maybe we can do a Zatsudan the way I did today for anime and like other general stuff to like just talk about like like talk about GFL, because I know GFL right now is like I'm super deep into it and I really want to talk lore about it. Maybe we can dedicate another Zatsudan to GFL lore or Blue Archive lore. But I'm not sure if pure gaming streams are worth it right now. I could definitely do like a GFL themed cocktail stream as I've been doing. But I don't know if I can do a dedicated gaming stream like I wanted to. So yeah. I think I should call it for now. I'm so wine drunk right now. I look at this shit. This was full. This was full. It was full. And now with like I've drank like almost like 70% of it. So I'm really quite wine drunk. I really should call it here. Um Next week, I think. So I was planning to do a soju stream because I had asked my brother actually, because my brother and his girlfriend like are really into soju. I was thinking about doing a soju stream next week, but I think next week let's actually do like a bunch of stuff that I did on Twitter, like remake what I made on Twitter, but like in video form, in stream form, so that like it's something I can actually post on YouTube at some point. So let's do that next week. And then yeah, I mean let's do that next week. I definitely want to make the macchiato martini that I made for GFL2. I want to make the chilling memory that I made for mint fantome, because that's genuinely become one of my favorite drinks ever. Um What other good drinks that I make out there? Oh yeah, because I have soju, I can make the a Yuna Martini. So yeah, I'll try to build a lot of like character themed and VTuber themed cocktails next week. So you can see, like, if you've never followed my Twitter, you can see what I do on Twitter. So that should be fun. Yeah. But for now, I'm mega drunk right now. I really need to lie down. I'm going to keep drinking if I keep yapping like this, and I could continue yapping about random shit, but also like I'm gonna be fucked up tomorrow. So I really should cut myself off. Thank you. Thank you so much, especially you, Chibadi, for sticking with me and talking to me and helping me like re-guide my thinking to like help me. I I I genuinely love VTubing. I genuinely can't think of another future for myself. So, oh, I appreciate anyone who ends up watching this. And so, thank you. Thanks for the stream. Go and take a break. For sure, for sure. I really want to play some video games too that I haven't been able to play for a while. So, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I'll see you next week. But thank you for today. It was nice to just talk and get things off my chest that are completely unimportant, but it's just it feels nice to just be able to talk to someone because I don't really have that in my life lately. So I appreciate you greatly so much. So very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. See you next week.